Hello and welcome, everyone. Hopefully, our mic is working. Chat seems to be working, except chat is watching. We are going to be going over some mods. All of them are from Victoria 3 as part of ModCon. Before we get into it, I just want to announce that, as per the starting soon thing, this is going to be going a few other days, but today is all of the Victoria 3 stuff, and we are going to be taking a look at all of these mods. Okay. Couple things. First of all, we are raising money for the World's Monument Fund, which is dedicated to protecting various monuments. And since I know you guys like history and you like monuments, this is definitely going to be something that you are perhaps interested in. The link will be on the YouTube section. Here's a list of, or kind of a few examples of some of the projects that they are currently engaged in preserving. If you guys wanted to check it out, you can check them out on wmf.org. We are also going to be at the end of this. Well, we'll get to it when we get to it. Okay. Coming back over to our schedule here, we have several different things we're getting into. Our first kind of segment, we have Kingdoms of God, Gates of the Bosphorus, and This Land is Ours. I think we'll just kick things off and jump into Kingdom of God, which is going to be adding flavor to various Christian religions, which is something that there really isn't too much religious flavor in Victoria 3 in the base game, unless you count the presence of, the papacy, which gives big bonuses, but only if you're Catholic. So let's jump in and take a look at Kingdom of God.
We believe in one God, the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, and of all things visible and invisible, and in one Lord Jesus Christ, the only begotten of the Father before all worlds.
The Kingdom of God is a rework and large expansion of the Orthodox widget from the Gates of the Bosphorus mod that aims to provide historical and cultural flavor for the Roman Catholic, Eastern Orthodox, and Oriental Orthodox churches during the Victorian era. The Victorian era saw the decline of Christianity as a political force, with the loss of the Papal States in the West and the fragmentation of the Orthodox Church in the East. Nonetheless, Christianity became a driving social force during this era, in many cases becoming inseparable from progressive and nationalist movements. Catholic, Orthodox, and Oriental Orthodox countries will have access to the Christianity widget, which is an evolution of the Orthodox Church widget from the Gates of the Bosphorus mod. This mod plans to add several features and mechanics to expand the Christian religions from being only discrimination traits into being a social political element of every playthrough. The first of these are the Metropolitan panels. Every country will have a flavored measure of their religious eminence, which represents the state's ability to either influence or direct its clergy. Every country will also have access to unique decisions inspired by the history of their faith. Likewise, players will be able to use their religious eminence to further empower their state, either by venerating Marian apparitions for Catholics, venerating icons for the Orthodox, and venerating saints for the Oriental Orthodox faith. The encyclical system will present a challenge to players throughout the game, and will give them chances to inspire the faithful and increase their standing within the church. Presented as journals, these represent doctrinal and social directives from their heads of faith, with consequences for success and failure depending on the organization and centralization of a given faith. The Ecumenical Council system will allow players and heads of faith to call convocations of their faith to resolve major issues. Unique to Catholics will be a system for the College of Cardinals. This system will provide for the election of the next pope and allows countries to use their standing within the Catholic Church to support favorable candidates. Coming in from Gates of the Bosphorus, the patriarchal seat system has been greatly expanded to account for the addition of new faiths. Managing your relations with the bishops of your faith and other faiths will be as important as capturing seats and enforcing liturgical practices. Every faith will also have the option to declare autocephaly, although how easy or impactful this decision is will vary greatly depending on your faith. For the Catholics, schism is a grave social political action that will not go unanswered. In the Orthodox world, schism from Constantinople is relatively easy and considered a function of national identity in opposition to both Russian and Ottoman influence. Meanwhile, amongst the Oriental Orthodox churches, several churches are already autocephalous, and schism isn't seen as a difficult task. Additional mechanics will be implemented for the Papal States, allowing the Bishop of Rome to serve as the head of the Catholic Church. Please note that this mod is still in early development, with a beta release expected sometime in late summer to mid-fall.
All right, and that is Kingdom of God. Very excited to be trying that one out later. Really kind of, it's interesting when you have like an immersive set of mechanics around a particular feature. In this case, it will be religion. And also, it's really cool to see some of these mods working together. You noticed that they talked about using the Orthodox Church of Gates of the Bosphorus, which is a rework for the Balkans. But before we get into that, I forgot to mention there is a giveaway. The link will be posted by some of the moderators who are guest moderating in here, but it is for Chapter 4 of CK3 for the DLC. If you are interested, make sure you try and pester them for the link. Type in link now, at them as much as you can in chat. Just be like, give me the link. But we are also going to be taking a look at Gates of the Bosphorus here. Oh man, my thing's out of order. Gates of the Bosphorus, which is a rework, unless I'm mixing up the mods, which classic me would be to do, we've played this a bit. It gives a bunch of flavor to, Turkey, to Greece, including everyone's favorite, restoring the Roman Empire. Part of the Roman Empire, half the Roman Empire, truly, but it is flavor for a whole bunch of places in the region, and also starting to introduce more flavor kind of deeper into the Balkan states. That way everyone can get mad at each other, as the Balkan states tend to do. Let's get into it.
Hello everyone, this is Alexadishi, and welcome to the presentation for the Gates of the Bosphorus flavor mod for Victoria 3. Formerly known as Greece, Byzantium, and the Balkans flavor, this is a mod that aims to add historical and cultural flavor to the countries of the Balkans and the Ottoman Empire. This mod aims to provide a deep but vanilla-like experience to playing these nations, with content designed to remain in line with content found in base Victoria 3 and its DLCs, while still being fun and sometimes a little goofy to play. And without further ado, we'll get started with the Ottoman Empire. In the 1800s, the Ottoman Empire is in a precarious position. After centuries of military defeats, the Sultan and his court have realized the empire is stagnant, and while not yet doomed to fall, will inevitably fail unless they take decisive action. The struggle is represented by a trio of journals that replace and expand on the Sickman journal found in the base game. The first of these, the Sickman of Europe, represents the geopolitical struggle of the Ottoman Empire. Players are challenged to both prevent the further loss of territory and to regain control of the lands the empire held at its apex. The base game Syria and Egypt journals have been integrated into this system, with additional journals for Crete and the Caucasus. The second journal and group of journals relate to the Tanzimat, which represent the immense struggle for bureaucratic reform in the empire. Led by Sultan Mahmud II and his son Abdulmecid, the Tanzimat is the culmination of a full century of reformist movements that seek to prevent the empire from being torn apart by nationalism. Following the death of Mahmud II, players will be able to declare the start of the Tanzimat. The last of these journals, The Rise of Nationalism, is a major rework and expansion of the Eastern Question journal. This system represents the struggle of the Balkan peoples for independence and behaves in a manner similar to the struggles from Crusader Kings III. The Balkan nationalism situation will progress through various phases, each worsening in severity until the outbreak of the hostility phase, which will see riots and revolts break out across the Balkans. Alongside these journals are several historical events, buildings, characters, and ideologies that serve to bring the Ottoman story to life. Libya, better known as Tripolitania during this time, is little more than a series of Ottoman outposts along the southern Mediterranean. In 1836, Constantinople has only just restored control over the region and has charged the Bey with securing stable rule over Libya. This mandate is represented by the Centralization Journal, which challenges players to develop Libya from a small Ottoman outpost into a proper province of the empire. Meanwhile, to the south of Benghazi, a threat is developing in the form of the Senussi movement. This movement is comprised of the followers of Muhammad al-Senussi, who reject the primacy of the Sultan over Libya and are willing to fight for an independent Libya. Players are left to decide how to engage with the Senussi, either by tolerating their gradual spread into Tripolitania, or by taking the fight to them and claiming control over the sands of the Libyan desert. Should the player reject the Senussi, the Turkish aristocracy will remain entrenched. However, should the player embrace al-Senussi, they will be given the chance to welcome the House of Senussi to the throne of Libya. In 1836, Tunis exists on the margins of the Ottoman Empire. The heir to the regency, Ahmad I, holds a grand vision for the development of a modern Tunisian state and players will be able to realize his inspirational journey to the French court in Paris. Being adjacent to Libya, Tunis can also encounter its own branch of the Sanusia movement should it grow strong enough in Libya. Content for Tunisia is currently in an early state, with more journals and events planned for the future. Greece, and the Greek cultures in general, have received large expansions to their content, and the Greek culture has been split into 3 subcultures: the Hellenes, the Romaios, and the Urums of Crimea. In the Hellenic space, we have Greece, the Ionian Islands, and the Principality of Samos. Greece has received a major rework and expansion to all of its content. The Bavarocracy, the journal signifying Otto Wittelsbach's struggle to hold the throne, has been expanded to account for an absolutist outcome and for the player to have the choice to eject Otto early and elect a native king. The Ionian Islands have the Xenocracy Journal, which represents the British Empire's desire to reform the islands into an ideal colony as a means of justifying their colonial missions elsewhere. On Samos, the Ottomans seek to assert control over the rebellious island, which officially never surrendered to the Porte but rather acknowledged its submission. Complementing these journals is a reworked Greek nationalism journal. This journal represents the debate over the definition of Greekness in the years following the Greek Revolution. By taking actions such as excavating sites or declaring a national dialect, players will be able to guide their version of the Greek state into embracing an identity based on either the ancient Greek, the Greco-Roman Byzantine Empire, or a hybrid identity emphasizing an unbroken continuity from the Bronze Age to the Industrial Age. Within the Ottoman Empire, 3 new countries have been added which can be selected from the objectives menu: Trabzon, Cappadocia, and Theodoro. Each of these represent the entrenched Greek populations of Pontus, Cappadocia, and Crimea, each of which operated with a large degree of autonomy from their imperial overlords. These communities lack a connection to the Hellenic identity that has gained traction in Attica and Thessaly, and this is reflected in their variants of the Greek journal entries. The latest update to Gates of the Bosphorus has also brought some substantial changes to the Western Balkans. The Eyalet of Hersek, or modern-day Herzegovina, is a new addition in the latest patch. This region was the personal fiefdom of the Ottoman warlord Ali Pasha Rizvan Begovic. In 1836, Ali Pasha is in the midst of his plans to secure hereditary rule over Herzegovina with the eventual aim of becoming a sultan himself. The Tanzimat, once declared by the Ottomans, poses an existential threat to Ali Pasha, as one of its aims is to abolish regimes such as his within the empire. Along with this, the Pasha aims to settle his long-standing rivalry with Peter II, the Prince Bishop of Montenegro. Montenegro's events have been updated to reflect the addition of Hersek. Montenegro has also received a unique monument representing the complex road networks through the Montenegrin mountains. For Serbia, the dynastic rivalry and Načrtanje journals have been rebalanced and their scripting improved. Further improvements will be made as more information is released regarding National Awakening. In 1836, Romania is split between the Turkish overseen principalities of Moldavia and Wallachia, while the lands of Transylvania are under Austrian rule. The principalities are governed by the Regulamental Organic. This is represented by a journal entry that charges the player with carrying out the process of reforming the principalities into modern nation-states. As the revolutions of 1848 spread across Western Europe, Romanian players will encounter the Romanian Liberalism journals. These journals represent the events of 1848 within the principalities, which saw the near overthrow of the Regulamentul. Additionally, after forming a united Romania, players will be presented with the Romanian Nationalism Journal. This journal represents the back-and-forth struggle between various movements to lay claim to the Romanian identity and its origins. Finally, with the permission of the developer, Gates of the Bosphorus will begin integrating content from Arise the Romanian later this year. With Update 3.0, Gates of the Bosphorus includes a unique way to start playing in 1836 as the precursors to the Bulgarian and Albanian states. Both of these options are available from the objectives menu. The Eyalet of Silistra consists of the Ottoman provinces that were home to a Bulgarian majority population in the 1800s, and provides players with a path to form the Bulgarian state. Further south in the Balkans is the Sanjak of Yanya. The small sub-province controls the small capital of the old Albanian Eyalet. Players are able to take charge of this small region and can take up the mantle of Albanian independence. Overall, Gates of the Bosphorus aims to provide cultural and historical context to the Balkans and the Ottoman Empire. Please feel free to follow development and make suggestions for content both on the Gates of the Bosphorus Discord or on its channel in the Modding Co-op.
All right, so we are back, and Gates of the Bosphorus, alongside Hail Columbia, which we will talk about in a little bit, is kind of a type of mod that I really, really like in Victoria 3, which is mods that will, without creating like overpowered situations or just pump a lot of power into regional areas, add a whole ton of flavor, and as he was saying kind of at the end, context and these types of things, as well as railroading certain outcomes. You could see that there was, breaking up the Balkans, breaking up Turkey types of mechanics in there. And they do this without really kind of like, it feels like stepping on the toes of kind of the overall theme and design principles of the game, which Victoria 3 tends to have a little bit more muted sorts of effects as it relates to power level from flavor. And that is something that I definitely appreciate kind of in a general sense from these mods. We did play this mod a little bit. We restored Byzantium, I think, was the way we decided to play the Greeks. You could play it a few different ways. I had a bit of fun doing that. Just a reminder, there is a giveaway for the fourth, series, chapter 4, for CK, if you wanted to kind of scroll through. It is in there. Hey, Mercy, how's it going? We do have, $3 till 2000. We are, of course, raising money for some monuments, World Monument Fund, which is dedicated to preserving various monuments. And I've heard that they're actually taken out of game if they don't get preserved. That's what I heard. I don't know, I can't confirm that, I can't deny it, but it is going to be something that is, if you are interested in supporting it, we do have that going on, and that is at the bottom right if you are on the YouTube. If you're on the Twitch, you can head on over to the YouTube, except for me saying that technically violates the TOS, but that's the way things go. But really, kind of filling in the gaps as it relates to flavor is kind of what some of these mods are doing. And this next mod that we kind of have coming up is going to be one that I think is thematically in line with that. And that is This Land Is Mine, which is going to feature a whole bunch of sort of content for the Middle East / Arabia. So let's take a bit of a look at that. And then after that, we will talk a little bit about what a mod gem is. All right, and that is Rationalist on the Discord. You can find him on the Vic3 Discord, and he did say it was going to be released sometime after, Charters of Commerce, but I encourage you to go onto that Discord and add him completely out of context and tell him to finish his mods, because I am excited for some more Arabia content. But for now, we're here with Lord R, who is the modder behind Morganrote, and he is going to explain to us what a mod jam is, because we are going to be doing that at the end of showing off all the mods here. So, take it away.
Hello there. So, a mod jam is basically we had 3 days time, and we were a team of 4 people, and we basically had those 3 days to create a mod. We were allowed to plan for it a little earlier, so we started planning like a few weeks ago, and then on Thursday we were allowed to start modding, and we did a lot of work until like a few minutes ago, I guess. Well, I wasn't, because I was in the YouTube chat, but the other modders were continuing the work.
Are we allowed to tease any of what might be coming up? Because I saw
Yes.
a couple screenshots. So I saw both cannons and what looked like spacesuits somewhere in there.
I will just share my screen. I think
Okay,
that's
I think,
right.
Yeah, I have it set up so I can show this the screen share. So
Let's see if this works.
it is showing your screen.
Okay. So everyone can see this image.
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is just the first image that I brought to you, and maybe you can already guess what it is. It was created by Miss Deuce, who's really great at 3D modeling, by the way. And now we will go a little further. I have another screenshot, and you can see this thing here in the background. That's also something we created. That's actually a model made by me. Maybe someone can guess what it is. Do you have an idea?
I do not. I do not have any idea other than I think I'm unfamiliar with this lore. Someone's saying in chat that it's Power Rangers.
No, not really. Maybe the next image will give it away.
I see.
This is another model.
Is this zombies?
No,
No, okay. I don't know then. I'm unfamiliar. I mean, it looks spacey.
I think my screen is
I
not.
see alien. I see I come in peace. That doesn't look like an item of peace. I see someone say Frieza. I don't think they have
And
ray guns.
the cool thing is, there is a textured version of it too.
Oh, very cool.
And then we also have this one. This is the finished suit. I guess now it's kind of obvious what it is.
I'm unfamiliar with the sci-fi lore. Someone says bro said zombies. I thought it was Call of Duty Zombies. Maybe I don't know.
It's actually just random aliens.
Just random aliens. Okay.
Yeah. So the suit, as I said, is made by Miss Deuce, and the alien, I made that by modifying the characters a little bit.
Yes.
Here you can see some fancy aliens. This one has a great name.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, very strapping name. Glurb glob.
And then we have another one, and you might notice that their names are basically the same, just with a few letters switched.
Yep, just a tonal language. I can get behind that.
We also have some pops, and here you can see the gun again.
Yep.
And some more.
I didn't even realize you could have the pops holding stuff. I guess they hold the pitchforks like in vanilla, right?
Yeah, and in that case, I'm sure you will look forward to the Japanese uniform mod, because
they
have
that
special
one's very
equipment
cool.
too there. Yeah, so a lot of aliens, and then we also have this here in the foreground of this city.
Yeah, I think that's the cannon asset I saw earlier. Or the anti-alien
Quite
gun.
possible. That's actually something I made, and I had like an hour until I figured out how to add it into the city, and I failed because I just put it into the wrong folder. So I was like, why does it not work? And it was actually working, just not in the right folder.
It was a user
Then we
error.
also have, yeah, and then we also have some cool other things like this alien message here.
Okay.
And I'm sure you will see more of this later today.
Yes. Hopefully I will be able to
And,
detect the invasion before the fall of mankind.
Yeah, and this is the fancy full screen event art. Yeah,
Very cool.
and that's basically it.
I think I've seen this interface before. The like full screen pop up message, right? Or like semi full screen. I think those look so neat. I forget which mod I've seen it in, but
probably in the Bosphorus one.
That I think
it's actually part of the community mod framework.
I think it was Gates of the Bosphorus, because I did play that a little bit coming into it. But I think we're getting to the point in time, because we're at the 30-minute mark where we are in the next segment.
Yeah, that's great, because I just showed off everything.
Perfect timing. All right, so we are going to head on over back to our schedule and take a look at the next segment. I'm also going to end the call, so
yeah,
we will be back with Lord R later when we take a look at Morgan Road. But coming back in, we have Basilia Romion, which is it's a very interesting mod. So this is an alternate history mod, but it's not just an alternate history mod. It also is one in which you are going to get extra timeline, which is something that I think that a lot of Victoria 3 players kind of want. And it really changing the timeline and like the length of time that, the length of time that the game goes will add an entirely new pacing. I wonder if they do anything in particular to slow down the player. Probably not, but there is an entire extension of the tech tree, if I am not mistaken. And so we're going to take a little bit of a look at that, and then we will discuss. So this is Basilia Romion, except we probably mispronounced it, because we do. So we did see a little bit of that Roman steampunk tech tree, which I just love the sound of as in terms of like as a title, Roman steampunk tech tree. But we saw extended timeline and also extended tech tree and unique flavor, unique modifiers. Although the unique modifiers went by really fast, I didn't get a very good look at them. But it's always interesting to play when the game has a little bit of a different balance, a little bit of a different look. And with the new timeline, you of course are going to get a bunch of different places that you can take a look at. We are, just a reminder, we are raising money for monuments because we like monuments because they appear not out of nowhere. People build them, but that's why people need to maintain them. So we're raising money for the World's Monuments Fund, and we are also doing a giveaway for Chapter 4 of CK3. And so takes you all the way up to Hoey 4 start date, Pog. So does Vic 3. But that one, I wish I've gotten to play that one, but that one looks super sick to just like also explore, especially the mods that overhaul your entire start position and this type of thing are always really fun to explore, and excited to be seeing some of those rework mods that are changing a whole bunch of stuff. We do have several other things to get through, but we also have a poll where you guys would like to play, what you would like to see. We see 42% for Byzantium, classic response by a, audience of, Paradox members. Of course, it's Byzantium. I heard that was the most popular in terms of EU5 requests. We see 20%, roughly 20% for the 3 of HRE, Al-Andalus, and non-Mediterranean. Really excited to see what features they might have for the HRE. They said prevent revolutions, and that's something that is a little bit, I think, like, your own internal country, like, really breaking down hyper-aggressively is not something that vanilla Vic 3 mechanics really have too much of a system for, and so that would be pretty cool to be able to see. Did you miss Realms of Exthar? No, that comes later. 500? Oh, baby. Let's go. Thank you so much for the contribution. Lord R likes monuments. That's true. He is also in charge of the mod that is coming up in just a little bit, which is going to be Morgan wrote. But I think we should take a look at the community mod framework now. And this is one of the mods that is kind of helping to... well, let's just take a look at it and then we'll talk about it.
Hello everyone, this is Alexadeshi. I am a contributor to the Community Mod Framework, and I'll be talking about a few aspects of this community resource, primarily UI related. My goal is to give a brief summary of these features, and a more detailed guide is available on the GitHub page. The first thing I'll be talking about is the community mod triggers. This was the starting point of the community framework and consists of a series of scripted triggers that are meant to allow mods to detect each other without having to pass around variables. This is done by stacking a series of scripted triggers in the community mod framework, which are set to evaluate to false. Each mod then adds their own scripted trigger file that will override this to true if that mod is present. For example, here I have the default setting in the community mod framework for Gates of the Bosphorus, which is then overridden by Gates of the Bosphorus if it's loaded. Next is the Objectives GUI framework. This modifies the Objectives UI to allow for custom objectives. This accomplishes this by adding a scroll bar to the objectives window. Without this, custom objectives will end up stacked up on the right side of the UI and will be unclickable. And next is the modded DLC framework. This is a modification to the main menu screen that adds a visual divider between the true Paradox DLC icons and DLC icons that have been added by player mods. This also provides a visual disclaimer advising players which icons are from DLCs and which have been added by mods. One of the largest elements of the community mod framework is the alternative event windows. These are modded event windows that are available simply by loading CMF and can be passed by using the GUI window argument. For anybody familiar with using the character windows from vanilla, you'll know that you can just pass this by using the GUI window argument and the key of your event window. For ease of use, modded windows use a similar scheme for inputting your scopes into the event windows. So for example, left icon and right icon are still used. If the event has 3 characters, we instead also pass in center icon. And lastly, another feature included in the community mod framework is functionality for a unified sidebar. Shortly after Paradox gave us scripted widgets, we noticed that several mods were fighting with each other for real estate on the bottom left corner of the screen, which could result in buttons either overlapping or running off the screen. These work by calling a dummy ideology, which is added into a global list, and an SGUI that shares the name of that ideology. When you click the button, it sets a variable into the GUI variable system and fires any scripted events you have set to that button. A full guide for this is available on the GitHub. Please read this guide before using it. Obviously, any questions, feel free to reach out on the Discord. If you encounter any problems or just confused how to do something, please look through the README. It's really quite detailed about what you need to do to use each and every one of our features. Also, if you're stumped beyond that, want to see a feature added, or just have questions in general, we're all available on the Victoria 3 modding co-op. Most of us are pretty good about answering questions, and we're always interested in new ideas for either new features or fixes, or just to help people figure this out.
It is nice to see the Victoria 3 modding community generally working together. We have a couple of them in chat. If people had questions, we have both the Basilia Romion modder in chat, as well as the Gates of the Bosphorus one, and of course, the Morgan wrote one as well, but we haven't gotten to his mod yet. If you guys had any questions, you could feel free to throw it up with them. But it's nice to see them working together. You could see 3 of the mods are using the Orthodox rework that is present in Gates of the Bosphorus, and so that is pretty cool to be seeing. I think that we did hear from Basilia Romion regarding the HRE revolution, saying that it's pretty primitive right now, but next update, it is going to get reworked and have something with a little bit of teeth. I've been playing quite a bit of EU5, and one of the things I've been itching for or thinking about a lot as it relates to games is like how you add revolutions that have a lot of teeth, and it'll be interesting to see how modders maybe approach that if they want to have things that are have a little bit more teeth. In terms of making stuff more difficult for the player as a significant challenge. I feel like revolutions generally in strategy games are maybe a little bit on the weaker side, but we don't want to fall too far behind schedule, or we're ahead of schedule. We are ahead of schedule a little bit. So let's see if we have any questions in particular. We do have... You say it's platypus instead of a deer. That is true. It is a platypus instead of a deer. Is a platypus a mammal? It shouldn't be. Or should it be? It's venomous. It's a little bit of an interesting thing. We do have also some of the devs in chat as well. So maybe a little bit of a question for the devs is, how often do you play with mods on the game when you play Vic 3? Because obviously you can't necessarily test your own... you can't really play test necessarily for what you are doing in terms of development if you're playing on a mod, or the things might not necessarily connect and line up well. But at the same time, it's nice to see how things have been changed, and also to see how many new features that are included. And with Morgan Road specifically, Morgan Road has a lot of, which we will be taking a look at next, a lot of things that I kind of think in terms of not necessarily all the mechanics, but a lot of the themes and what it's going for, I would actually love to see folded into vanilla, because Morgan Road is like a bit of a cultural rework mod, and Morgan Road is like, for vanilla, it feels like, generally speaking, you play towards SOL or you play towards line go up, which we can run a poll, and of course you guys will have good taste and you will know what is in fact more important. I won't need to tell you guys what's more important. Whether it is line go up or SOL. But what Morgenroth does in particular is that it adds a whole nother like cultural layer, which I think adds like another thing that you could potentially play for as a general type of thing. We do see... Did we get a response from Lino? No, we didn't just quite yet. He might not be listening as close. But we do have 69% for line go up and 34% for SOL. Quite a bit more on the SOL. But I think that maybe I should stop teasing Morgenroth, and instead we should take a look at it. Hey Java, how's it going? So let's jump in on Morgenroth, which is got a ton of content. Morgenroth is just like very, very content dense on the culture. So let's take a look.
Well, with Morgenroth, we added a lot of content for players that want to experience other aspects of the Victorian Age. But even if you're more interested in creating a globe-spanning empire, we have a lot of stuff that you can do and experience. After all, Great Britain, for example, is infamous for stealing artifacts from all over the world, and so can you. If you click on the Rename Technology button, you will get to the Tech tab. Here you can find 3 additional tabs that I will show you. I am very happy that our interface actually changed a lot since last ModCon. First, we were able to create our own window with its own button, thanks to an update to the base game. That was already a huge improvement, but it got even better. Bakhmut from the Manaflow mod offered us to rework the interface again, which was very much needed as I created it when I really didn't know a lot about how to create a user interface. The new interface has many improvements. First of all, the 3 categories science, arts and sports are now separated in 3 windows, each with their own button. This makes the interface way less crowded. Before the rework, there were 9 academics on one page, and you had to scroll endlessly to reach the one you were looking for. Now we have 4 tabs in our science window. The first one gives you an overview over the academic progress, your scientific focus, and your scientific expeditions. Speaking of the scientific expeditions, don't they look fantastic here? The academics themselves got a facelift as well. They now have a different structure and buttons with more information. If you missed the old layout though, you can just switch it by clicking this little button here. Our goal for the academics was to be able to show all of them on one page, so that you do not have to scroll anymore. As we are planning for a maximum of 4 academics per specialty, this should work for most of them. As we are already looking at the academics themselves, did you notice that we added new ones? The Mathematical Technical tab now has the chemist too, who joined the engineer and the astronomer. The chemist now also has a fancy window displaying all the elements that were discovered. The cool thing about that is that once the periodic table is invented, you actually get the better looking periodic table. The astronomer got a new window as well that shows you planets and astronomical objects, as well as the moons that were discovered, another new feature that we added. In the Natural History tab we have another newcomer, the Geologist, who can improve your buildings, research geological features and even try to explore volcanoes. And the Humanities tab now has the Physician joining the Archaeologist and Anthropologist. Physicians are very important as diseases will ravage your nation. We also created a custom window for the physician that gives you an overview over the diseases and the Red Cross. You can, for example, see how far you got in discovering and treating those diseases, which will allow you to actually prevent them. Something really cool that is possible thanks to the community mod framework is the ability to click on an alert and being directed to the place you need to be. If your geologist is not doing anything, you can click on the alert and the Natural History tab will be opened, for example. Speaking of the community mod framework, our buttons have keybinds as well for easy access. If you press your M key, you will get to the Science window. Ctrl and A will get you to the Arts window, and Ctrl and S will open the Sports window. Speaking of arts, let us take a look at it. During the last ModCon we were talking about adding the writer to the game, which we were able to do. So there currently are 3 artists, the composer, the writer and the painter. If you open the arts window, you will first see the progress to your next artist and possible art specializations though. Additionally, on the bottom there is an overview over the various centers of arts that can get created. I really like those icons as well. In the next tab you can see the artists themselves. As you might notice, there are quite a few historical artists that you can hire. During the last 1.5 years we added quite many historical characters. I think there are now slightly over 700 characters, most of them with unique DNA as well. So you can meet great minds like Einstein, Darwin or Mendeleev. Next up is the sports window. It is separated into sports and aeronautics. For sports we recently added the car racers and the national coach. For the car racers we even have a window showing you various information and allowing you to design your own race car. So get ready to race with Ferrari. Obviously there were many other changes as well. I slightly reworked the paleontologist, for example. But maybe I should let one of them tell you more about the life of a paleontologist first.
When I was a child, I loved searching for fossils. Even though I mostly found tiny belemnoids, my interest was sparked. So I went down to the university, studied every day, learned more about natural history than anyone else. My first job out of university was going on a paleontological expedition for my country. I loved that. Now, this formation was just recently discovered to contain fossils, and they told me, kid, find as many as you can. It wasn't easy. We had to fight nature herself. Sometimes we lost a good, promising site to a mudslide. But there were people helping us with valuable information. In the end, we found some interesting fossils, and even some bones. Now, what followed was systemizing all the fossils. I actually found some additional ones in rocks that others thought to be empty. During that time, the first public collection of paleontology opened in Europe. Now, understand that Darwin's discovery of evolution allowed us to systemize the periods of fossils more precisely. It also sparked interest in the newfound animals of times long gone. The time was right to get together a brilliant team of men for my next expedition. Well, about 2 years after the last expedition, it was time for another one. I traveled to the same spot again, and with the experience I'd acquired since then, searching for dig sites, it had become much, much easier, I assure you. Well, obviously it was a great help to have a team there, but I had to get most of the initial work and direction of the dig done by myself. But towards the end there, I was able to leave them, a very promising site they were working, and they continued to search for all the good fossils and, more importantly, the bones. Among the bones we discovered in this expedition, one of our finds was an excellent specimen, a gigantic skull, the likes we'd never seen before. It was after this expedition when I realized it would actually be possible to mount the bones of the dinosaur and create a skeleton for display. Obviously, this was not easy toil, but I worked day and night to recreate this monster of the past. Oh, and after months of work, we finally finished. I was so happy, but, well, in hindsight, I might have made a few small errors. Nonetheless, it was a magnificent Tyrannosaurus, and it was the first attraction of the Paleontological Museum. Shortly afterward, a regrettable incident followed. A fellow paleontologist who I thought was a friend, a colleague, he wrote a scathing article about my skeleton. He said I put the head on his tail. Well, that was a horrible thing to say. A horrible thing to say in public. Now, it might have been true, but a horrible thing to say in public. Whoa. Well, I didn't let him stop me. I just decided to find more bones than him. You could say a rivalry was born. On the next expedition, the rivalry got downright hot. That traitor decided to send some goons after me. And one night, we were woken up by a massive explosion, and the dig site we had discovered just the day before was blown up. All the bones were lost. I could not be stopped. My expedition was a success, in spite of his sabotage. We even found something quite special there. But the T-Rex still haunted me. I decided to try my hand at it again. This time it turned out perfectly. Perfectly, I tell you. One could say my museum yet lacked. So I decided to create a prehistorical scenery. It became an important part of the collection. What followed were years of expeditions and mounting dinosaur bones and preparing fossils for the collection, scientific papers, and so on and the like. And at an age when other people were already retired, I reached the peak of my creativity. I invited all the paleontologists of distinction to a congress to clarify a question that had been driving me for ages. Why did the dinosaurs not walk among us anymore? How did they become extinct? There were various theories at the Congress, the sinking of the sea level, pathological gigantism, insufficient sexual activity. One astronomer even suggested that an asteroid impact was responsible for the extinction. An asteroid? Madness. That's just madness. My opinion was clear. Mammals were much more efficient than the dinosaurs, and they ate their eggs. And this ultimately led to their extinction. Many of my colleagues shared my opinion, and so it was recorded as the official result of the conference. And my work is far from finished, even if I occasionally misplace a bone here or there. That's nothing. I am still one of the best paleontologists in the world, if not the best.
Here I would like to thank Dean Webb, the man behind the YouTube channel An Economist Plays. who helped us to give our paleontologist a voice. I think he did a fantastic job sounding like an old American paleontologist. As you might have noticed in the trailer, I reworked the paleontologist to be more similar to the archaeologist. They now go on expeditions, and if you have a paleontological team, you can leave it on an excavation that gives you bones and fossils passively. This is part of an effort to allow projects to be worked on without the academic. In the future, I plan to add this mechanic to other academics as well, for example, the engineer. I also reworked the way skeletons are made. Before, it was an event that fired after a random amount of days. Now it is a journal entry which allows you to keep track of the progress and the chance of it turning into a perfect skeleton or a horrible skeleton. Additionally, you can now partially automate the paleontologist by clicking this button. I also did something else for paleontology that you surely noticed in the trailer, and it is related to something I mentioned in the last ModCon presentation for Morgenröte.
One of our dreams for the future is to have those monuments present on the map, but sadly neither Marco nor I do really know anything about 3D modeling.
Even though we didn't find anyone to create 3D models of our unique buildings for us, we were able to add the first few 3D models on the map. This was possible thanks to Miss Deuce, who created fantastic clothes and props for our characters and helped me to understand the basics of Blender and Substance Painter. So in the last 2 months I worked on some new 3D assets, including a Morgenröte coin, table objects and a few monuments. I am especially happy that I was able to finally include some culinary arts into Morgenröte, and what better way to do so than to have them on the table. So whether you want to have a piece of Battenberg cake or need a drink in form of an old-fashioned, you can now add them to your table and enjoy them while playing. If only we could eat digital objects. One other aspect that we are constantly working on is how to explain to the players how Morgenröte works. So far we mostly added concepts to tooltips and to the Wikipedia in-game. But with the new interface I also wanted to add an actual tutorial. I am still testing how to best implement it, but I hope to have some simple tutorials in Morgenröte soon. I hope to be able to make those tutorials as modular as possible. That way you would, for example, be able to only use the tutorial for a new character that we added. Speaking of adding new characters, I usually try to improve the code and playability of Morgenröte while Marco plans the new characters. And as of now, our plans are to add the architect next. Remember that we're still working on the architect, so it's actually possible that things changed between me recording this and the actual ModCon. The architect will, especially at Game Start, be very important for you. But why is that? Well, if you take a look at the character traits of the architect, you will find an architectural style trait. This trait adds 3 construction points to your country as long as the architect is not working on another project. As you can imagine, 23 construction points are extremely strong for a small country like Switzerland at Game Start. Now let's look at the architects a little more. First, you might notice that the architect is holding a plan in the portrait. I am actually quite proud of it, as it is the first prop and animation I created for Morgenröte. Next up, there are the important values for the architects and your country's architecture. Architectural splendor is a representation of the quality of architecture in your country. It represents beautiful buildings in new styles. Architectural splendor is also a part of the cultural tradition of your country, and unlike other traditions, it gets converted into cultural tradition directly. this cultural tradition will also help you gain more prestige. But an architect can also create blueprints. Basically, we added new prestigious buildings to Morganröte that you can only build if your architect created blueprints for them. Let's say we want a new monument and press the button for it. Now we can decide which building to construct, and you can see their bonuses. If you choose one of them, a journal entry will be activated. The journal entry will gain progress depending on your architect's traits. Once created, you can use the blueprints to build the building like any other normal building. Architects can also invent or gain new art styles. Right now, those are Bauhaus, Neoclassicism, and Art Deco. Once you have gained those art styles, your architect can start improving your cities with even fancier buildings. This will again give you more architectural splendor. As with most artists, you can also invite independent architects to become the main architects of your country. This could be very interesting for smaller countries that want access to the passive bonuses I already mentioned. So this was all about the architect, who will hopefully be in the release following Victoria 3's 1.9 update. So this is nearly the end of the video, and it's time to say thanks to a few people. I already mentioned some names, and there are a lot of other modders and streamers that helped us. But the most important people are you, the players, who give us valuable feedback, give the mod thumbs up, and play with it. Thanks to you, Morganröte is now the best rated mod on the Victoria 3 workshop, which we honestly never expected to happen. So thank you a lot.
Oop. Alright, so first of all, thank you so very much to Anonymous, who is my favorite Anonymous out of all the Anonymouses, for donating 1,000 Swiss francs to the World Monuments Fund. We are raising money for the World's Monument Fund, which goes to protect various monuments. We can take a look at a couple examples just real quick. I think this is the right one. Yep, we clicked the right button, including the Ishtar Gate of Babylon and some others. Of course, if monuments get destroyed in real life, they actually get taken out of the game. This is a well-known fact. So if you're interested in contributing, it is available as a link on our YouTube in the bottom right. Click on the one in the user interface. It should say we are raising money. But also, Morgan wrote, we got to see a lot of characters, a lot of artists, a lot of scientists, a lot of paleontologists, a lot of swagger. And something we are going to also be doing today is we are going to be deciding on as a community on a character to add to Morgan wrote. So we do have a link for a form that you can fill out for a character to add. It must be within the time frame of the game, and it must also be reasonable, but we are going to be adding a character to Morgan wrote. And let's see if we can pull up the link. That way we can terrorize the children, because it of course is in a spreadsheet. It is done in a spreadsheet. 1,000 donation is crazy. It's extra crazy because it's Swiss francs. So if you're operating in freedom money, it is like 1,200 after the what is it? Oh my god, my brain. When you change one money for another, exchange. That's the one. So we do have the character sheet for Morgan wrote. We are going to take a look at it. So at this point, if you have children, if you have any children that are under the age of 38, please do not let them see this, okay? Because this is a spreadsheet. Do not let them look at this. Throw them down the stairs if you have to, but here we go. We do still have the chat on the overlay, but if you want to add someone, like let's say we're going to put in... Someone put in Hegel but misspelled... Oh no, that's Hagel. let's put that in there. And he is philosopher. So the link is down below if you want to include it. Not Hegel. No. Horror, the horrors. We will be designing that, or we will be doing that. We won't be designing it, but it will be Lord R, who we are going to get on call to talk about the Morgenrope mod, which we just saw as a thing. Now, if he wants to show off particular things of the mod, we can screen share his screen. But let's get him on call now, as we see the people fill in the things, and then we will find some democratic means of determining which character we will take a look at. Probably whoever screams the loudest in chat. Hello, Lord R. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes. Can you hear me?
I can. Perfect. I think in the background, unless you want to screen share, we are going to leave the Morgenrope characters. That way people know that we are pulling a character that will be decided on stream. And if you guys don't want to see the horrors, you should add people other than Hegel. But I really, in terms of the direction of your mod, it has come along so much in terms of the UI. That was so exciting to see just how clean the UI looked. It looked like a fully released game rather than a mod. It was very exciting to see. Do you have any statements you want to make just generally before I start asking you some questions, or us talking about culture as it relates to Victoria 3?
No, I think you said a lot about it already. You mentioned most things that I would have mentioned.
That you like culture as a metric of success for nations, because for me that's generally when you're playing games, you're playing towards a particular objective, and it's very cool to have an outlet other than just money. In particular, do you feel like with Morgenrote, it's easy to focus on a particular sphere if you wanted to just focus on one thing? Or I felt that you kind of establish a power base and then you kind of focus on a lot of the things and compete with the other great powers, vying for control of all the cultural and scientific elements and innovation.
I think it really depends on whether you play with Morgenrote the first time or whether you are experienced. Like if I would play it for the first time, I would probably just try to focus on some things and then see what scientists I get, what artists I get, and kind of go along with that. But if I have a lot of experience already, I might know that, for example, an engineer is very useful, so I might want to get that one first and then see what else I have access to and try to generally get everything done.
Yeah, I found that if you go for everything, it's generally really expensive in terms of the money, which I actually like quite a lot because it slows down the player quite a bit in terms of economy.
Well, you can get some of the money back through the tourism modifier, though.
Oh, okay.
So if you have a lot of culture or museums and stuff, you actually get your money back once you research that technology.
It has been a little bit since I played. I don't remember the tourism mechanic, but that's super interesting. So regarding, one thing I would actually super want to see in game is, in the vanilla version, is something that you touch on a little bit, which is printing companies and having, authors and this type of thing. With the idea that publications and free speech and this type of stuff, I'd like to see a bit of tension there where you have to choose between having an iron grip on your nation or giving it a more laissez-faire approach, which leads to better outcomes in terms of art and culture. Do you have a opinion on that? Or
Oh, first of all, a lot of that literature and newspaper stuff is from another mod that we were allowed to implement.
Uh-huh.
I think it's called Rise of the Publishing Industry,
Okay.
and so we integrated a lot of it. But I also think that especially newspapers and journalists were a huge part of that time period.
Yes.
And I think the base game touches on it a little bit with agitators. But it's like only a few of them are like writers or journalists. And I personally would also like to see more, but I think it's probably not a good idea to add too many new goods right now, because that would just slow the game down, and not everyone has like the newest CPU,
Yeah.
so
That for me is the like one. I don't have the best computer, so for me the one downside of Morgan Road, otherwise I would play with it way more, is that it tends to slow down if the game starts to get way later because of a bunch of the new stuff it adds. We have now kind of several of these characters that are being proposed in here. Do you want to? We could triage some of these out with polls to try and decide on a final one, or we can let people add a little bit more. The moderators can link for anyone who's new coming in, but you can suggest a character to be added to the Morgan Road mod.
well, I see Nikola Tesla, and he's actually already part of the mod.
Do you want to?
So
Here, let's.
we can probably take him out, I guess.
Why don't we do already present off to the right?
Yeah,
That way, he doesn't get re-added, something like that.
that's
Something to that effect. Do you have Marie Curie?
no, I actually
Ooh.
wanted to add her for a long time, but I never got to it.
Madame Curie. She is a big one.
Yeah,
Especially in
and
terms. Go on.
she will be relevant even more later, because we want to add the physicist soon.
Right. The as a science discipline, I'm not that familiar with the overall like timeline, but what does that look like for like the development of like nuclear theory and technology and this type of stuff?
That's a very good question. Well, I think we have uranium and some technologies already in Morgenröte, and during that time period there were very important steps, and not just for like nuclear physics, but also Einstein was active during that time. And then I think the first prototype nuclear reactor, or at least the first fission, was achieved, I think, barely during the time period of Victoria III, but I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, it's not in theory though, like since the bomb was built within 8 years, I think that like in theory if you really focused on it, you could achieve it within the timeline of the game. That's always kind of an interesting consideration, is something is plausible inside the timeline.
Yeah, I think our plan is to actually add like a very basic nuclear reactor, kind of like an experimental one. And so you will be able to use your uranium for other things than like, I think right now it's just uranium porcelain or something, uranium glass. I mean, they put uranium into everything during that time period. They even had radioactive stuff. Like they put, I think, radium or uranium into toothpaste.
Yeah, that's not ideal.
No, really not.
Do you wonder how long it took before them to realize that was killing a bunch of people?
I think they realized quite quickly after some people had a not so nice looking face anymore.
Yeah. I know the Italians, when they started eating tomatoes, like in like the, not the Middle Ages, but like the 1600s, this type of thing, they thought the tomatoes were poisonous, and it was really just the tomatoes were acidic, and it was causing the lead on the lead plates to leak off at a higher rate, and that's why they thought that they were poisonous. Kind of an interesting anecdote. I see a few philosophers on here. Is that something that's kind of not quite within the the spheres maybe of some of what it is that your category is, because it's not really a writer in, let's say, the traditional sense. Have you thought about adding philosopher as a category, or would that be under writer?
I think I did, but we agreed that we already have quite a lot of characters, and I think there would be other categories that make more sense.
Mm-hmm.
So we probably won't add philosophers as philosophers, but
just
as writers they work. By the way, I think it would probably be a good time to like slowly start stopping to collect the characters. Or
Okay.
how much time do we still have?
Well, it depends on. I was told we could go over on things because we're the last one of the day. But if you want, we could start trying to triage some of these through polls. We could do one massive straw poll if you want to try and figure one out now. So we could do that. Let's do that. So while I type in this straw poll, you said you thought about other categories for characters.
Mm-hmm.
What category for character did you, or what are some categories for characters that you thought about but you ultimately decided not to include?
One big one was mathematicians, which were also, like, there were a lot of new things in maths during that time. But at the same time, we decided that we could just put them into like other categories, mostly physicists, as they were often also mathematicians, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
We also talked about jazz musicians at some point. And I would really like to add them because I think it would be really cool to have like musicians with their instruments. But I think we will wait with that until hopefully late game is easier to get to.
Yes.
Because that would be like the last third of the game where it's really relevant.
Do people leave feedback often on like how late they can get in with the mod in terms of timeline?
How do you mean that?
So like, it's hard for me to play up to 1900 with the mod from like a performance perspective. I'm sure you could do it if you had a nicer computer than mine, but is that something that you get feedback on very often and like informs your development?
I don't think a lot of people actually reach that time.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously because it's quite slow on older computers, and also there is less and less content for the later time period.
Right.
But I know that some people get there because they tested, for example, the car racing,
Yep.
which is really a late game thing, and also the airplanes, like the Schneider Trophy, for example. So I know that a few people actually get there. I don't know how many though.
That's true. That's not something you would collect data on. Or there really isn't. What kind of metrics can modders create in terms of information or collect? Yeah, I'm
Not
still
really
trying
a lot, I think. What we can see is obviously how many subscriptions we have and how many people like the mod and so on, but that doesn't really say anything about how they play or how far they
How
get.
many hours or...
We also don't know how many of those subscriptions actually are playing the mod
Right.
and how often. So it's kind of a black box, and most of the things we know about it is when people actually give us feedback, which is very
Yeah.
important. Oh, I see another one that is already present. We already have Schliemann.
Schliemann. You can note if they're already present.
I did it.
Or
Um,
I'm almost done inputting all these. So if you are above Ignaz Philip Semwise, or you will not be included in the poll. Maybe we should have cut it off. Maybe I actually should have asked a mod to do input instead of a
that
straw
would
poll.
probably be easier.
That definitely should have. Let's see. In terms of questions, do you think what feature do you think would be most implementable in vanilla in terms of what it is that you include? Because you include so many different like cultural elements. Is there one you think would be very easy to implement in vanilla in terms of the both balance and also ease for the developers?
That's a good question.
Because there's so many things inside of your mod that I would love to see folded into vanilla, but I don't know what their metrics are for including stuff, as to why they might not, and also what you think would be important or this type of thing.
I think what they at some point are going to add, because they once did it in what was it called? Their I think they have like personal development time, and during that I once saw a dev diary about archaeology, so I assume that it will at some point be implemented. But I guess there are bigger things to take care of first.
Yes.
So I think it will probably take a while. But it would be good for us because hopefully they would add something like artifacts, and we might actually be able to use that for other parts of Morgenröte.
Yeah, if they have more of a framework for what it is you're trying to do. I think we have a straw poll now. You can select up to 5 characters for the straw poll, and I am linking it in here. So, there we go. Is there... Do you have the mod installed right now?
Yes.
Do you want to maybe... Or what's my... Actually, here. I gotta check the chat and see what my timing window is. But if we have more time, do you want to maybe open up the thing and see what we can see?
Yeah, I can prepare that, and if we don't do it, then I can at least start with the character that will be voted for.
Very true. Very true. So we do have the poll for you guys to select. Let's see who's currently winning the poll. You can select up to 5. We see some people selecting Nikola Tesla because I'm bad at creating polls and he's already in game. We see Cornelius Dopper with a couple votes. Max Planck is already present. Marie Curie doing well. Hegel doing well. Not like this. Heinrich Schliemann, I think. You told me that, but I think I'd already input him. But
we can just take those out that are already in the mod.
People get 5 votes, so it's not like they're losing too many votes. But does anyone have any particular things for Morgenröte they would like to see as well? If he is booting up the game to be taking a look.
Oh, I need to make sure that I don't share the audio.
Oh, yeah, because I think there are a couple of copyrighted songs on there. I
They
don't
are
think.
actually not copyrighted. They are all public domain, but some of them, they just assume that it's another recording, which is not in the public domain yet.
Oh man, I know I've gotten bopped for a video with Morgan wrote before. Even though we already have the poll going, if you do want to see a character in Morgan wrote, you can still put it into this public spreadsheet because he will be able to take a look at that later, even if it's not winning the poll.
So I have the game open. Should I share the screen? Do we have time?
Yes, I will switch to. Let's switch the call to share screen. Yeah, so share your screen, and then I'll switch over my thing.
So you should see it now, right?
Yes, they can see
Okay.
what it is you're doing and see you here in Morgan Road. So you were playing as Switzerland. Do you have any scientists right now? Or authors?
Yeah. Actually, yes. I think there is always one starting scientist here.
So you have a civil engineer.
Yes, exactly.
And the civil engineer can help you too with various projects. Ooh, man, the resolution is not showing up the best on stream.
Oh, no.
No, that's not. It's not. It's because it's capping like a relatively small portion of my screen. Is that legible to you guys on screen? On stream, I'm not sure if it's legible or not. But we do have this scientist. Currently, he's engaged in what action do we have here? An infrastructure project.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite for doing with your civil engineers?
Yes. It depends actually. If I start without railways, I mostly go for the infrastructure project because it adds modifiers to the states that give you free infrastructure. But there is also the construction project, which makes your construction sectors way better. For example, it lowers the input goods needed, it raises the output, the throughput. I also like the irrigation system because it helps against the harvest conditions and it helps for farming and other agricultural buildings.
Yep.
Yeah, that's about it for the civil engineer. And my other favorite engineer is the mechanical engineer, because they can do the Modernize Industries project, which basically does the same as the construction project, just for other
industries.
Buildings. I actually can show it off real quick. I can switch him to a mechanical engineer, and then I can click this button, and then I can actually choose which building I want to improve.
Okay.
And it's also possible to like order it.
Oh, this will be so nice with 1.9 because they're going to be allowing for a lot more specialization. So having another tool that you can improve will be very cool. Now, how many times can you improve them with your engineer? Is it just once per industry?
Yes. So I can show it to you. You click on the button and then you get a journal entry. And you can see it will get 3 different modifiers.
Okay.
And each of the modifiers gives a little bonus. And once it's done, you can't improve it again.
How little is little?
I think it's like 5% throughput. And then... Wait, I can just cheat it real quick to see.
So strong, but not insane.
No, it should be not too strong. Oh, did I get the wrong one? Oh. Where is it? Maybe it takes too much time. I can't find the right variable right now. Well, anyways, it's, I think, 5% throughput, then 5% throughput and 5% less input, and then another 5% less input goods.
That's not a very common modifier, is both output and decreased input goods.
Yes.
Let's see. Do you have any artists?
Yes, I think I have a writer. Yes, here.
Okay.
Gotthelf.
So you have a couple different things you could do with the writer. Once he gets a lot more experience, do you unlock the ability to write a bestseller? Or is that just writing a... Because he doesn't have write a book action yet, right?
No, because we let everyone start at 0 with books and stuff like that.
Okay.
Except for some of the composers. But the writer basically works like this. He's a... I think he's a novelist, and that means he can write bestsellers. And bestsellers are possible if you're genre. So, for example, he is a literary fiction writer. If that is close to the preference of your country.
Right.
So this is science fiction right now. And then in this tooltip you could look up, science fiction. Oh, it's close. So he could actually write a bestseller.
It has to be with what your culture wants right now, though?
Yes. And the preference of the culture depends on the country. For example, if you find Neptune, the planet Neptune, you can actually get it's a higher chance to get science fiction. Or
okay.
I think if you send an archaeologist to a dig site, the chance is higher to get the adventure.
Wow.
And so on.
That's so cool that that some of this stuff is intertwined like that. I had no idea that was going on. In terms of the odds.
I can also show you some other artists. For example, the composer. This is Rossini. And he already composed 3 masterworks, so he can't create another one.
Yep. 3 is the limit.
And there are some others, like I think in Saxony. Oops, wrong one. Here. There is Mendelssohn.
Yeah.
And he does have 2 masterworks, so he could compose another one. And
I remember Wagner being in there. Don't know if you have him as one of the top guys at the start. It looks like he's not. But I do remember having him. Richard Wagner? Ride of the Balkans.
Yes, he starts a little later, I think.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Yeah, there are like a lot of historical characters, as you can see.
I remember being able to steal books from someone when I took their capital. Is that...
Yes, I think.
Can you only steal books, or can you steal other types of art?
I think currently it's just books, and that's only possible if you have an art gallery. Oh, I'm in the wrong country now.
And so these gallery-type buildings are how you get some of the payoffs for your culture, right?
Yes. For example, the archaeological museum can have better production methods, and thanks to that you get more prestige, mostly. And the same is true for like the National Library. The more books you have, the more prestige you have as a country.
The observatory also gives some actual stronger bonuses with some of the new sciences you research, right? We have all these bonuses and PMs.
One useful thing, for example, is meteorology, because it helps against harvest conditions. Or if we look at chemistry, you can upgrade your chemistry lab, and then you can get better or different elements. Because if you have a chemist like this one that doesn't exist, you can find more elements. Because obviously there are way more than 92 elements.
Yeah. Someone wants to know if there are any effects if the country goes to war, any special cultural effects or something like this?
That's a good question. We have so many things. I think there is surely something. I mean, the one example that I remember is that if Great Britain conquers Beijing, I think, yes, then the Summer Palace gets burned
Ooh,
down.
that's
And the fun thing is, if you then get really strong as China and invade London, then you can burn down the Big Ben, I think. So you can take revenge.
The century of revenge follows the century of humiliation. Someone wants to know if it's possible for a character to have two different roles simultaneously.
No, not as of right now. That would be a little too complicated.
Is that too complicated from the end user perspective, or keeping track of stuff in terms of modding it would be too complicated?
Keeping track of stuff, and mostly that, like, if one character would be like a physicist and a chemist, for example, at the same time, it would mean that they are actually way less effective because they could only do one project. So they could either do
Okay.
try to find an element or do something else.
They can't be politicians or generals or agitators, right?
No, not the writers can actually become agitators,
Okay.
and then they can theoretically become rulers too. I once saw, I think it was Norway with a revolt, and one of our writers was leading it.
Can they be a writer simultaneously as doing this other stuff, or is it only when they are not currently employed that they can do the other stuff?
Only when they are not writers anymore. But some agitators can actually also become writers if they are like, I'm not needed anymore, my interest group is very happy, so why should I agitate more?
Also, if their interest group of your scientists or writers or artists gets upset, they leave your country, right?
I think that's true for the writer mostly. I
Okay.
would love to add it for other characters too at some point, but that's it would be a lot of work.
Someone asks if your pops can build the special buildings. I think the special buildings are only in the capital, right? The
Yes.
payout buildings for the art.
We have various special buildings, and most of them can only be built in the capital.
Yeah.
There are some others, like the where is it? For example, the hydrogenation plants is a new chemical building, or the synthetic rubber factory.
Ooh.
We also have instrument workshops and the opera house.
Have you thought about consolidating any of these buildings? There's also the publishing industry, and each of these produces a new type of good.
It's always a little complicated because on one hand it's easier to manage if you have like one building doing one thing, but it also means it's worse for performance. For example, the instrument workshop was part of the tooling workshops before, but that caused one of the goods to always be like either way too many instruments or way too few or too many. Well, there's never really too.
This was a classic when they had the fertilizer/explosives building. That you would get that. Now there are some interesting production methods on the publishing industry, right?
Yes. Which ones do you mean?
They give different bonuses based on what type of publishing you do, right? I think it's that one.
Do you mean this one?
Yeah, so you could have different types of newspapers.
Exactly. For example, you can have a workers' newspaper, and then you have a higher standard of living for the lower strata, but at the same time other negative modifiers. So it's always a little bit of what would I prefer?
Someone wants to know if they can get they wanted to know how you can get centers of art and how that mechanic works.
Yes. So for the centers of art, it depends. For example, realism and irrationalism, they have journal entries. So you can unlock them by, I think, researching technologies, having enough tradition of various kinds. I think you're not allowed to be a split state, and so on. And then you also have the three special technologies, Impressionism, Expressionism, and Art Nouveau. And you can actually see here what they need. For example, Art Nouveau needs irrationalism, realism, a happy intelligentsia, and a lot of painting tradition.
Yeah.
And I think if you're the first country to research it or to click on this button, then you actually get the Center of Arts. And then this Center of Arts, for example, here in
They give
Rome,
a bonus, right?
Exactly. This one gives you a painting tradition mostly.
So very cool. Is there any last couple things that you might want to show off? Because I'm being told that we are a little bit behind now at this point. But I really love the Morgan Rope mod. Is there any last things that you maybe want to show off, or any last minute questions? Or are they saying it's okay? Okay, they're saying it's okay. We can keep looking. So we don't need to. Is there any more questions from chat specifically? But I will have some questions. Can we take a look at a couple of the science tabs? Maybe, because I think we looked at the mechanical one. Can we take a look at natural history?
Yes.
I personally lost a lot of geologists to volcanoes, throwing them in there. How many different animals do you have for the naturalists to discover? Do you know?
Let me see. I think it's something around 50. We have 2, 4, 6, 8.
Okay.
That's like 32.
Yeah.
6
That is
times
close
8.
to 50.
A lot of math.
Yeah. You never do math on stream. This is
maybe 60.
a rookie mistake, because if you always look really silly if you get it wrong, and then you're both thinking about what you're saying, trying to keep like being engaging, and then like also you're trying to do the math. It's very easy to mess up.
But I think my favorite one is the platypus. But it's just cool.
Do you think the platypus deserves to be a mammal, or should it not be a mammal?
Yes, it is a mammal.
But, I mean, taxonomy of animals, it could be something else.
Well, I think it's just way cooler if it's a mammal, because how many mammals are there that are like laying eggs, that can find their food by like feeling the electricity in the water, and also are poisonous? Like, that's just the coolest mammal that you can find, right?
Yeah, but it'd also be a cool reptile if it had hair.
There are already cool reptiles.
There aren't any cool mammals? Oh no.
There are, but like this is just the coolest. I mean, for reptiles, we have all those cool dinosaurs.
That's true. Do you have blurbs for each one of them? Is there any kind of categorization based on the age the dinosaurs were in, like Cretaceous or Cretaceous?
We ordered them by continent.
Just continent.
So like,
okay,
yeah. Plus, there are a few general ones that are mostly actually very few of them are real dinosaurs. Most of them are either reptiles or Actually, one is a whale, one is a shark.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
that's
I think we mostly ordered them by continent. It would be really cool if we could like have kind of like a character thing with the dinosaur and like the age that it was found, maybe how many specimens that were found already, and so on. But that's something we might add in the future, because thanks to the community mod framework, there is now a way to actually do that. But I can't promise anything.
Yeah, always be cagey when talking about promises. Someone wants to know what special discoveries or artifacts they can get.
Well, quite a lot, actually. For artifacts, you can find, let's see here, great artifacts. There are like 4 Egyptian ones. The obvious one is the mask of Tutankhamun, and the other one is the bust of Nefertiti. But there are also the sarcophagus of an unknown pharaoh, and the palette of Narmer. Mm-hmm. And basically every region has their own major artifacts. Here are some Mesopotamian ones.
And some of these ones, or all of these expeditions do have unique events that are distinct. Yeah. I remember having to solve a riddle for the Mesoamerican one.
Yes, that one is inspired by Indiana Jones. I think it's the pyramid, right?
I think that's the one. I'm not sure. I would say the answer to the riddle, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone else.
Yeah, I think. I once saw a Reddit post where Abraham Lincoln went there. That was when our scientists weren't like their own characters yet and just politicians.
Yeah. Okay, so do you have any closing thoughts in terms of things you want or things that are on the horizon that people should take a look for?
Well, obviously we will add the architect soon, as I mentioned in my video, or in our video. And then we will probably focus on one of the other scientists that are still missing, which is the physicist, the biologist, and the ethnologist, I think. And one other big thing we would like to add is the Nobel Prize, which would be really cool if we could name it after the inventor of the dynamite, which is something we are trying to do, but I'm not sure if we can achieve it. Yeah, so if, for example, your Spanish chemist invents the dynamite, it's not the Nobel Prize, like but
Diaz or something.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, so we have lots of plans, and I don't know how fast we will be, but we will see.
All right. Well, I am going to get back to the schedule. Thank you so very much for showing off the mod. And the results of the poll, let's just take a very quick look at them before we... the results of the poll, because I think people will be kind of excited to see this. We see... let's refresh. We see Marie Curie out in front with 21 votes, and then 14 for Nietzsche. And I think neither of those are in the game, so I think those might be...
Nope.
We might be seeing those. But thank you so very much. I'm going to head on over to back to the schedule. All right, so coming up, we have Hail Columbia, which is an American mod for... an American flavor rework mod. And like this one, Gates of the Bosphorus, I really like it because it is like a vanilla plus experience that's not too disruptive or adding something that's just absolutely crazy. Instead, I think it is a really good overhaul and very dense overhaul in terms of flavor for America. So let's take a look.
In 1836, the United States of America stands as a beacon of liberal democracy, but its future has yet to be determined. Setting forth from the East Coast, the Americans are intent on expanding from sea to shining sea, but how far this manifest destiny will take them remains unclear. With an expansionist president and the population whipped up with colonial fervor, there is little to stop the United States from conquering all of North America, showing no mercy to anyone in their path. But contrary to its name, the United States is a divided country. In the South, the slave power reigns supreme over a great underclass of enslaved African Americans, while in the North, support for total abolition continues to build. Westward expansion will stretch this conflict to the breaking point, forcing the United States to answer the question of slavery one way or another. Even if the Confederates are crushed, it will be a long road to Reconstruction. The forces of white supremacy will rally and attempt to claw back every shred of power they can grab a hold of. As the economy turns towards an industrial future and railroads cross the continent, the American robber barons become the wealthiest individuals ever to walk the earth. In this gilded age, corruption runs rampant, businesses boom and bust, all while mass migrations swell the population with new faces and new cultures. In the face of these pressures, the progressive movement brings forth new ideas of social reform and improvement. Women organize for their rights across the country, and charismatic leaders champion the cause of a square deal for every American. Even so, more revolutionary ideas continue to find fertile soil in the mines and factories of the United States, as fundamental questions of ideals and identity remain unanswered. Shall American gunboats plant Old Glory on distant shores? Who gets to be an American, exactly? What will become of this great and turbulent land? In Hail Columbia, the dawn of the American century is yours to shape.
So that is, I haven't played in it with it for a while because I haven't done a USA run in a while, but that is one of my favorite mods. I don't know if I'll play USA just pure vanilla too much anymore, other than just for content reasons, but I really am a huge fan of that. And Gates of the Bosphorus is probably going to be in a similar boat, where it's it almost feels like a flavor pack in terms of, or it does feel like an entirely new flavor pack, like DLC type thing, where there's a bunch going on. So let's, just quick reminder, we are raising money for monuments, because if the monuments disappear in real life, they will disappear in game. This is confirmed. I was told this, and I don't think anyone has any reason to lie to me about this. And so if you are interested in preserving some monuments, you can feel free to contribute. Let's take I think we have a quick kind of look at some of the monuments that are being preserved, or some of the current and active projects that are going to be worked on by this. But also, there is a giveaway, and I think we are kind of maybe coming up close on the time that the giveaway is going to be kind of closing up in terms of availability. It is for Chapter 4 of CK3 in terms of what will be in the giveaway. If you are interested, the modders, or moderators rather, not the modders, although some of the modders are moderators, will post a link in the chat, and you will be able to take a look at that. And then now, let's get into Kiku's Flags and Names, which is going to have, as you might imagine, loud cars outside. It's going to be a loud car mod. This is going to be the central thing. No, okay, it's not going to be a loud car mod. It's going to be a Flags and Name mod. There might be loud cars, but it's Flags and mod, or it's Flags and Name.
Yeah, boy.
Oop, that's not the one. This is the one. But nice, short, and sweet. We now have coming up one that I can't speak to quite as well, Archon Domini, but it is a map and flavor, just complete overhaul mod for a game that I am a little bit less familiar with, but I anticipate a lot of you guys will be familiar with. Let's take a look.
Yo, this map kinda fire. Archon Domini hopes to translate the greatest game you couldn't recommend at gunpoint into Victoria Free, coming in 2 versions on release, one for the fully canon map as it appears in game, and another a speculative approximation of all of Tevat, starting with patch 0.7, as far above so far below, including special content for Mondstadt, the Nation Which Remembers, United Tribes, and the Abyss. There will likely be content for Fort Furdagan as well, assuming I can shove a slot machine into Victoria Free, and a rudimentary version of Leeway's main mechanic. However, as it is very consequential for the game at large, it may require more time in the oven. Universal content available for every nation will also come on the first release, including a number of event and event chains, and many intentionally busted technologies, partially to make resources more accessible in an environment not really built for traditional conquest, and of course to better fit the world of Genshin. On the community side of things, a secondary YouTube channel for updates on the mod's development, alongside with the Classic Humble Discord server, are already set up by the time you're watching this. The main feature of the server, outside of watching me crash out over the most basic coding problem in real time, will be voting for the next nation to receive an update. Whichever nation gets the most and/or funniest set of votes will be given priority in the development queue. Propaganda is highly encouraged. Hope this has piqued your interest, and see you when you run out of resin.
So I do not know as much about Genshin Impact, so it's difficult for me to comment. Surely the resin was a Genshin Impact joke, but this is an overhaul mod. If you were interested in helping to give suggestions for development of the mod, or you want to contribute yourself, feel free to check that one out. It's going to be very cool to check out nonetheless, even though I've never played Genshin, but I don't know. The Genshin is something I know a little bit less about, as far as we have with Archon Domini. Now, I do think we are probably still a little bit behind schedule. So let's take a quick look in terms of how things are going. And I can't read, so that is not necessarily that great. But in general, it's really cool to see these overhaul crossover mods as well, just as a general heuristic. And Genshin Impact wouldn't necessarily be the one I would be most anticipating seeing in Victoria 3, but if it's steampunky, then maybe that makes some sense. But next up we have one that is probably going to be something that is the Japanese uniform pack. Taking a look at it, I can actually see no reason why you wouldn't actually just always run it. Because it's a mod that updates uniforms. It looks very cute. People are very dapper. And so let's take a look at the Japanese uniform pack.
I can't wait to play as Japan. They are great. They have like samurais and the whole Meiji restoration. It will be great. Let's take a look at our people. Oh, this shogun looks really nice. What about the samurais? I think they have like samurais. Wait a second, this samurai doesn't look like a samurai. What about our generals? Let's look at them. They also don't look like Japanese generals. Like, they wear clothing. Shouldn't they wear armor? Okay, but I'm sure the soldiers will look great. No? Ah, what about the officers? Please. Oh, they look also like that. Maybe the workshop has something. Japanese uniforms. Let's see. Ooh, this looks promising. Let's install it.
All right, and that is Japanese uniform pack, which I think it looks incredible, and like it doesn't change anything as far as I understand in terms of gameplay. I think I just saw uniforms and they were all very cool looking, so that's one of those mods that like it's like I can think of no reason not to include this. It just is a enormous improvement in terms of getting all those nice looking uniforms, but we are coming up on the very last mod we are going to be taking a look at. When this mod trailer ends, it will close for the giveaway. So if you wanted to enter the giveaway for a copy, we are giving away 3 copies of the Crusader Kings, what is it? It's not Age 4, it's Chapter 4? Chapter 4. We are giving away 3 copies. If you guys are interested, make sure you sign up for the giveaway before this trailer ends. Otherwise it's over. Much like that loud car is outside, as one does. And coming up, we do have Realms of Exther, which is a fantasy overhaul mod. I've made videos on this mod before. I'm a big fan of it. You get different kinds of specializations you can lean into. You get to use magic. You get to kind of craft your own experience to some extent, and also play around whatever fantasy race you are having, what advantages they have, and this gives you a bit of a dynamic play where you are going to be playing in different ways. So let's take a look at Realms of Exther.
Long ago, the gods were banished beyond the stars. In their absence, mortals inherited the world. Kingdoms arose, empires sprawled, and from broken faiths, new orders were born. Yet the balance was never certain. Beneath banners and treaties, unrest simmered. Now, the old powers stare. Magic returns, wild, untamed, and hungry. The world twists in its grasp. What once was firm, now fractures. Thrones fall, truths unravel, and what was known is no longer safe. Mortals reach higher still, wielding steel and spell, a shield left. This is not a world waiting to be saved. It is a world already in motion. And you will not halt what comes, but you may shape what follows.
Oop, that was a little bit quicker than I had anticipated, but very big fan of that mod. It gets updated, I think, bi-weekly still, and so that is going to be an exciting one. I recommend checking it out, and also perhaps joining specifically and checking at what kind of leap in development they are, or what leg, because a good time to start a new game is, of course, at the 2 weeks. Just wanted to remind you guys, we are raising some money for the World's Monuments Fund, and we're going to do a poll on the giveaway now. So if you don't sign up anymore, because the names are already locked in. If you did not sign up before, tough. I don't know. But what you can do is you can give to the World's Monuments Fund. Everyone knows that the monuments, if not in game, if not in real life, will of course disappear in game. So if you like your mechanics in game, do put that in. Also, if anyone's confused, I'm of course joking about that. But we do have a couple of things in here. Now, we are going to paste everyone's Discord name who did sign up for the giveaway. And as you can see, we can click to spin as it were. We are going to be taking 3 of these. So let's spin and let's lend yourselves your energy. Wait, maybe that's not how we do it. Can we close the ads? I think we can. But bam. Oh, I almost shouted out the person who was passed over. Sorry about that. But Carasses, you will be contacted by a moderator that is going to give you your key. Congratulations on earning, through your typing in of your Discord name into the thing, of Chapter 4 of Crusader Kings 3. So they are removed now. One more spin, and by one more spin, I mean 2 more spins, because I can count. Just like I can read, and I can read this next person's name. Except I can't. That's all S's and A's. Sasa, congratulations, you will be contacted about your extended warranty on your vehicle. This has been a trap. I hope the moderator actually just contacts you. We're contacting you about your extended warranty. By extended warranty, we mean Chapter 4 key. Continuing on, this will be the third and final winner, although we're going to spin the wheel one more time to see the person who was close to winning but didn't win. Benjamin, B. Benjamin, talking about the Benjamins, you are the winner of the final key. Now, so to give one person a little bit of FOMO and a little bit of, I was so close, we're going to spin the wheel one more time. You will not be getting a key, dear fourth person on the spin. You will just be getting regret and sadness. Let's see who earns it. JCH Beal, Chuck Beal, congratulations, you haven't won anything. I'm so sorry. But let us kind of come back. We are going to be going into doing a mod jam with aliens. So let's join the schedule here, and we will be booting up Victoria 3 and taking a look at a mod that has been designed by several modders over the course of this weekend that features aliens, an alien invasion. I just got to make sure I launch up correctly, and then we will be loading in game and taking a look at it. So we are going to make, of course, a new playlist for, we're going to title it Mod Jam. And we are going to add both that mod and also the community framework mod, or the community mod framework. Perfect. And I think we have to load the community mod framework first, and then we will be able to launch in the launcher. Now, the community mod framework we did do a little bit on, and if you are interested in learning about it, it will be on the thing. Yeah. But we will be launching there. It is... Okay, for a second I thought I sent you back to the starting soon thing. Honorable regret. Yeah. It do be like that sometimes. Let us... Well, we won't jump into the game just yet because the game is still loading up, but we are going to be seeing some aliens. It is mod jam time. Lino wasn't joking? Lino wasn't joking about what? Damn. Honorable mention. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's the person who almost won. The dear luck. Hey, we do have a developer in chat though. Developer, if you feel that that person who just barely missed out should get a key for the new Victoria 3 DLC that drops on June 17th. That's June 17th next week. We will be getting a new patch and a pack for a mechanics pack for Charters of Commerce, which is going to feature an entire trade rework. If you wanted to sneak us a key, maybe we could give that person the Victoria 3 key. But bam. You know, never jokes except when he does. That's true. But we are going to be loading in, so let's, I think we will be able to show the loading screen here. So let's do that. Game capture. We will capture not European Universalis 5, because we aren't playing that right now. Can we capture the loading screen? No, what a world, what a world. We do have ModCon loading screen for our loading screen. So maybe we will be able to see that. We see that you guys have also voted for Bonk instead of Bonk, which I agree is a true and just decision. Have we not? Generally speaking, there we go. So we are going to be loading in. You can see here, War of the Worlds, Victorian Boogaloo is the name of this mod jam, and the loud cars are actually, that's not outside, that's in game. They have modded that in, a feature from me, that a loud car will play quite frequently, and it will sound like a loud car outside, but it's actually not. It is actually, that's not what it is. Is my chat... My YouTube chat, for some reason, is not updating. Not like this. I think I'm still going to be live. But we are going to be loading in. And taking a look. I don't have one, I'm afraid, but I can see what I could do. That would be really funny if we could give one out. The only non-Chapter 4... I mean, to be fair, if we are going to give out CD keys, it should be on the for Victor, or if non CK CD keys should be given out, it should be CK3. Bro almost got Lamberted. I might have gotten Lamberted if it wasn't for those or I would have gotten Lamberted if it wasn't for those meddlesome kids. Who should we play? Is there any specific flavor? Are we supposed to play a specific country? Join us in voice chat? Oh no. Okay, sorry. Where is this? Not like this. Where's the voice chat? Ah! Sorry, guys. Can you hear me? Oh no.
Yes, hello.
Okay, perfect. Sorry.
So, first of all, you have to go out to the menu again.
Okay.
The game rules here.
I loaded the community. Is there supposed to be one off to the right, a unique objective?
You need to activate the rule in the rules. There should be one. Sadly, the live stream is a little slow for me.
Alien delay?
Yes,
Yeah.
the delay, and you need to set it to no delay.
Perfect.
And then you should probably take a big country.
Yes.
Okay.
You should definitely take a big country.
It's gonna
A
be
small country.
survival time?
You'll see.
We'll see. Perfect.
I hope everything works.
Okay. Is this the settings we want? I assume that's yes.
I think so. Yeah.
We're gonna take a look. General is bested by Discord. The truth hurts. We did get Lord Ara on again for a third time. Alright, we're gonna take France. I think? Yeah, we're gonna take France. Surely, someone's suggesting China. I don't want to be fighting the Opium War and the alien invasion simultaneously.
Yeah, you should probably focus on things like universities.
Universities?
Yeah.
Yes.
Build armies and universities. That would be a good idea.
Bill, what was the first one? I heard Arby's, and it couldn't possibly be Arby's.
Armies.
Armies, got it. I was like, Arby's is not good for the soul. Okay.
You might want to wait with the armies until you do
Until
certain
the
things.
problem appears. Until we do certain things. Well, we're gonna do what we do best and build construction, and then run into problems. Alright, let's try and move at a decent clip, and we're going to build armies and universities. Let's not move the capital or get too fancy. Oh no, the UI is different again. Not you guys. Just the UI on the version of the game that is releasing next week is a bit different, and I'm now not used to the old UI. Someone's suggesting Arby's in Morganrote. I suggest you don't take that advice, Lord R. I think that would be a bad idea.
But at some point I would like to add something like food related.
Oh, I'm so down for food, just not Arby's. I'm just not thinking Arby's. Okay, we have a ridiculous sighting. A man near a bar in Besgon has reported being claimed to have met and conversed with extraterrestrial beings, creating a fuss all over Franche-Comté. Yes, officer, it was aliens. I'm sure of it. Blurp, officer. Blurp. They come down in a flying saucer and spoke to me in a language I couldn't understand. Does saucer mean something different back then? It's like a... Okay. They said they were from planet Unintelligible. That's my favorite planet. Shout out to Anonymous earlier for donating 1,000 to the World's Monuments Fund. That is the charity we were raising money for. It is down in the bottom right. They said they wanted to take me with them. Okay. Well, why do we care about this man's demented ravings? I certainly care. Have this man committed? I'm certainly committed. Follow up with a formal investigation. I think we should investigate and learn more about this alien menace. Okay, and then we get the Gentleman of Lily. Disturbing disappearances have spread across the French Low Counties. Alleged survivors... Wait, what? You guys said it wasn't a zombies mod. Of these incidents have clearly been traumatized by the experience of raving about monsters and aliens. Initial interviews have provided little clarity. And we do see this is in fact an event with part of the War of the Worlds. Just another urban killer? No. Our people are on the case. I think, I hope. Wait, but just another urban killer gives us more awareness.
You probably want more awareness.
That's what I'm thinking. Is this,
More awareness will make you kill them faster. Will make you kill you faster.
They'll make them kill us faster? Uh-oh. Well, I think this is just a demonstration of how incompetent our police are, right? The community policing option gets more. Makes sense. Okay, let's go. Encounters of a different kind is the journal entry that is now open for us. Peasantry are often redisposed to superstition. The repeated and consistent nature of the reports have blocked by Discord interest in senior officials in Paris. Only time will tell until they are mere rumors and hysterics. We've identified the alien menace. Not sure I like this. You know what else I don't like? Having to swap my PMs at game start. To the latest and greatest. It's also on the list of,
You know what you have to do in this version as well?
What's
Trade
that?
routes.
Oh my god, you're right. What do you mean they're not automatic? What do you mean I can only trade 5 trade routes of a good with someone adjacent to me and then it's no longer worth it? What do you mean? What do you mean I can't specialize in goods?
So you played the new version, right?
Yeah, I think the cat's out of the bag on that one, and I could confirm that it's out of the bag because I was one of the tutorial guys for the official Victoria 3 Discord. If moderator wants to link to the official Victoria 3 YouTube channel, there is now a second tutorial. A second tutorial has hit the Victoria 3 official YouTube, but for that, I did the first one, and I did it on the new game, so I would have had to have played the new game. So I don't think I'm giving new information. Otherwise, I would say hush hush.
Is the trade better there?
Huh?
Is the trade better there?
I think I will take the risk that I'm allowed to say this, and I will say yes, it's so much better. And then if I'm in trouble, Lino can let me know. Heard Tuesday's a pretty big day for trade. That is correct. Trade is getting reworked in Victoria 3 on June 17th, which is next Tuesday, unless I don't know the days of the week, which, to be fair, I don't. But let's encourage manufacturing in Rhone, I guess. Maybe we just shouldn't focus on this stuff. Alright. Assuming that we're gonna need it, we're gonna start here.
What do you think will the aliens will do to you?
What do I think or what do I hope? I mean,
You can
either way,
say
it's being
both.
probed. What do we think that they're going to do to us? I don't know. I think that... Okay, so, like, to more real talk about aliens, like, if they can travel to our planet, then there's probably not much we can do to resist them. So I'm going to hope to try and make friends, and then I think I'm going to be pleasantly unsurprised. Or unpleasantly surprised. That's the one. I imagine they are going to come with bad intentions, considering the mod title is War of the Worlds.
We will see.
We will see. I mean...
We don't know either.
You don't know either? Is it a die roll?
You said it at random. Yes.
Oh, man.
But we
Oh,
won't
man.
tell you what the outcomes are.
No, we won't tell it. But, you know, there's a die roll and we don't know which one it picked. So, there's multiple possibilities.
That is exciting. Almost as exciting as the change. Where we undo what has been done. Where you don't need to build a port. It's actually more exciting, but...
We should have added one version where the game just crashes.
I mean, that version might already be added.
I hope not.
Isn't that just another sort of die roll? Victoria 3 is in chat. Everyone hide. I just saw Victoria 3 official channel has less subs than me. That's a good sign that if you are not currently subscribed to the Victoria 3 official channel, you should probably sign up, especially because so much is changing Tuesday, June 17th, when the new patch drops. You might want to know about that. Streaks in the night. I almost read stakes in the night. And I was like, not like this. That's the bad option where we become stakes. Multiple residents have reported seeing strange streaks of light darting across the sky late at night. Witnesses claim the cars are loud outside, and also the lights move too fast and erratically to be aircraft or shooting stars. Maybe they were cars. They were there, and then they weren't. Lightning. One of them even hovered above my backyard for a second. I swear it looked right at me. Uh-oh. Man, these are some informed citizens who know about aircrafts. Let's take a look. We can gain minor awareness, medium awareness, and interview witnesses at the cost of 0 authority. Or we could say nip this in the bud. Let's try and learn more about our neighbors. The words of the church. This is voice of the people, so we will just pick an option. And raising concerns is also not from this mod, so we will do this. Yeah, I wonder which Victoria 3 community member it is. Probably Mercy or Pelly, I would guess. Alright, so we're losing some money, and we have to think about the alien invasion, potentially. I think we should build some military buildings as well. A little bit of military industry, just get it going a little bit. Surely this is what we do when there's people we don't understand. Crop circles. Oh no. Locals in Bastia have reported strange crop circles appearing overnight in the fields. These patterns are intricate and appear to be made with precision, but no one has seen or anything that could have done them. Not like this. I woke up and there it was. Perfect circles all the way to the tractor. Bent in ways no tractor could do. This grass wasn't cut, it was pressed like something very heavy and careful. This ain't no prank, I tell ya. I think they're telling us, I think they're giving it to us straight. We can have local authorities check it out and gain medium awareness. I think we'll do that. This is making our peasants radical? Why are they angry at us? We're not the ones. A creature from the Castrius Lagoon. A mysterious scene played out in the French West Indies, where an abandoned riverboat was found which had left the port of the evening prior. Villagers have reported as sighting a dark figure in the waters. It was only a small streamer, not like this, Rita, that was found beached on the shore. Or sorry, it was the small streamer Rita that was found beached on the shore. I wonder who will miss her. Shout out to Rita. Only a single bald body was found with the deck with the slight smell of spent gunpowder. Well, at least she put up a good fight. We become more aware of this fight. People in chat are trying to figure out if it's Mercy or Pele. Maybe let's take a vote. Can the moderators make votes? We'll make the vote. Oh, why is... It's not letting me make a vote. Alright, never mind then. Just kidding. General's getting wrecked by reading. Reading is hard. Oh no, Mercy gave it up. We can't have fun with a poll. Not like this. But hey, Mercy. This is Algeria content. We will kind of skip over the non-mod content, I think, for the most part, and just try and focus on the modding stuff. We are building universities as suggested. Yeah, everyone knows that my community and I do not know how to read. Oh, we forgot to lower wages. Lowering wages with the new patch won't be as effective, considering you'll have less wages, or less of your expenses will be on wages. But new neighbors, new grudges. This could apply to the aliens. Oh, does anyone else feel a sense of dread? I certainly do. How could it be Mercy doing the Victoria 3 official Discord if she's here in chat herself? It seems like a cover-up. Fidelity and perjury. No, that's not. I keep on seeing these events that I actually don't know the name of, like, any events. Like, offhand, so I keep on thinking this is alien content. Oh, clicked the wrong one. You need to tell me I have to do trade routes myself? How many people worked on this mod?
4.
4? Okay. And you are the Better Politics lead, right? Better Politics mod lead?
Yeah.
Is there a reason you didn't show off Better Politics in Mod Jam?
We had like a change of organization when ModCon was happening, so it was a bit hard.
Okay. That is I am a big fan of that mod.
Thank you. We're working on a pretty large update if you want to milk it for content eventually.
Eventually, yes. Once it releases. For those of you who don't know, the Better Politics mod. Do you want to describe it, or you want me to describe it?
You can describe it.
So the Better Politics mod updates and adds a ton of different interest groups, and in some sort of way segments the interest groups between ideological interest groups and bureaucratic interest groups. And one of the things I really like about adding a ton of new interest groups is it kind of pulls the power away from how important it is for any one particular interest group leader to have a particular ideology. And it also changes the way that you pass laws in a pretty substantive way, making it less chance-oriented and more political negotiation-oriented. Lino says he's a fan. Lino, one of the devs, says he's a fan of the Better Politics mod in chat. Mercy plus one's it. Is this De Riksham? Yes. It is the general themselves. The only thing that, like, the thing about Better Politics mod is I think it's, like, really intimidating to new player or right when they boot it up. Because a bunch of IGs kind of hit you in the face. But once you play it a little bit, it's like it's fairly intuitive. Regards to how many there are and stuff. We're gonna get cooed and have a revolution. We're gonna be doing French stuff before the aliens get to us. So many of these mods will presumably be a bit broken by the DLC for a bit. You know which one's not? The Japanese uniforms one. I can't imagine that one gets broken. Huh?
JE, the journal entry? Where did the journal entry go? Do you have the Alien Menace journal entry?
Oh, maybe it disappeared. I haven't gotten any events. I've been trying to plug mod stuff while I did the coup break it?
That's something broken. I think Lord R didn't upload the latest version of the mod, so that might be why.
Here, 1 second. The cars are too loud outside. Can you repeat yourself?
It might have not popped up. Oh, it's still there. Oh, it's still there. It just got unpinned.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Oh, wait, where is it?
Okay.
I forgot to
there.
download the last version before uploading it because I was like in between like live segments and really stressed.
Really stressed.
I hope everything works.
The journal entry is still there. Okay.
Good.
If not, we could restart on a country that's not going to have a coup before.
It might be better to restart because one of the path is broken.
Okay.
But it's up to you.
It's up to you. Whatever you guys want to do. I don't have a preference. In terms of, huh?
Stop the game and download the newest version that I just uploaded and then restart it.
Oh,
like
yeah.
the same save. That should work.
With the same
Yeah,
save?
it should work.
Okay.
Oh wait, actually they said probably not restart because it's almost midnight in Europe.
Okay, we'll turn on the day-night cycle.
Yeah, I think it should be safe compatible. There's like a few clothes changes and a pretty big bug fix to one of the lines.
Okay, so, but I'm not restarting the client here.
No, or you.
Okay.
I think you need to restart the client to update the mod.
I need to? Okay,
it.
got it.
But you can play with the same save.
Yeah. Don't restart the run, restart the... Got it. We get some aliens in chat. Miss Deuce, which rhymes with goose, says it would be a bit broken. Oh. On Western clothes. Alright. So, let's maybe not accidentally click our Spotify so we play copyrighted music, and instead, let's show this. these are the mods that we did go over today. I will try and, as we're restarting, maybe take a couple of questions / talk about these mods briefly. We have a Kingdom of God, which is a religious sort of rework for the various Christian religions. It's got Orthodox incorporating in Orthodox kind of flavor rework that is also in Gates of the Bosphorus, and then also reforming Catholic and Protestant. We have This Land Is Mine, which is going to be a rework for the Middle East / Arabia region, adding a whole bunch of flavor and content. And specifically, this is done by Rationalist, who, if you are on the official Victoria 3 Discord, you can pester to finish the mod. You can click @ and start typing Rationalist, and then you can ping him and tell him to finish his mod. Then there is Basilia Romion, which is a history rework, which features a history where the Roman Empire is still around. Al-Andalus controls a big chunk of Spain. There's a big HRE, and it adds 100 years to the timeline in terms of Victorian steampunk technology preceding kind of the normal technology, I think. Then we have Morgenrot, which is a massive cultural overhaul featuring some scientists, artists, various other things that you can get your way into. It's an absolutely massive mod. There's so much to do in there. That's going to be quite a lot. We skipped over Gates of the Bosphorus. Apologies. We also have Gates of the Bosphorus, which is a rework of the entire Balkans region, including a ton of rework for Turkey specifically / the Ottoman Empire. Hail Columbia, massive flavor pack, similar, a little bit, it's not over the top in regards to kind of how it plays, and it is for the USA, kind of similar idea. Kiko's flags and names, you get some flags, you get some names. Archon Domini is a complete overhaul for Genshin Impact, brought into Victoria 3. Seeing as I don't know Genshin Impact, it's a little difficult for me to discuss. The Japanese uniform pack is a very nice looking pack for the Japanese uniforms. And of course, Realms of Exthar is a fantasy complete entire overhaul mod. We will jump back in the game now. I said we will jump back. There we go. Perfect. The link doesn't work. Not like this. That's not my problem. That's the moderator's problem. Cacophony of voices. Word has spread of the alien presence on Earth, and a cacophony of voices ensues. We must decide how to deal with the situation. The rest of the book, To Serve Man, is a cookbook, not like this. Okay, so cracking down would be a mistake. We must limit the spread of knowledge. Alien movements. I think it's better if the people know. Said no autocratic ruler ever. Steam having issues? Are you going to check out Project Variety again? Yes, at some point. At some point. Why didn't you do ModGen? Here, we're gonna crash site investigation. Let's investigate. We could select a response to the aliens, and we have 3 groups that are kind of brewing up here. Thinkers, war momentum, warlike, and then the talkers, they like to talk. Thinkers have proposed researching their technologies and matching them with innovation. The warlikes have asserted that their intentions are clearly threatening and only appropriate response a show of force. Yeah, the you better know how hard someone can punch back before you punch them in the face. And then we have diplomacy. Oh, this is the London conference. It's not that type of London, Colin. Oop. Please don't mention food, I'm hungry. Everyone, please What's your favorite food in chat? And which food should be included in Morgan wrote? Alright, we get some normal French stuff with kings and... yeah. It happens. Our outliner's being funny. A missive from the stars. We received an alien missive written in a language that's not in this world. The message is long and complex, but we can properly decipher it with the right tools and knowledge. Let's begin deciphering.
This is such a cool journal entry.
Oh yeah, this is very cool.
Oh, will we have to do deciphering ourselves? Code breaking?
No, you.
Okay, now it's active. I was like, it's not active. What do we need to gain progress? Side the talkers' political movements and universities in the country increase the likelihood of breakthroughs. Okay. So we are working on universities. Is there anything in the mod that would have broken the outliner? Or is that just some Vic 3 classic?
I don't think so.
Classic.
Vic 3
Yeah.
classic.
I think it's a vanilla thing.
We could still kind of see it. To be fair, I actually wish you could do this with the outliner.
Fix it. You can fix it by pressing F1 and then pressing F1 again. Should fix it usually.
Okay. I was about to say, like, it would be cool if you could, like, get the outliner to, like, pull in, pull out. Not like that. California burrito, someone says. Delicious. It's where they put French fries in the burrito. Someone was showing me their burrito the other day. They had hash browns in it. It looked good. I don't know why we're spending time reading that. We're trying to click through events that are not part of the mod relatively quickly. We are building some military stuff just in case, but we do have idle construction sectors, which, you know, idle's hands is devil's work or something like this. So we are going to just set up a little bit of eco stuff.
If you want to progress the mod faster, you should choose a path and then try to progress it as fast.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
A million minutes.
I think we're gonna choose the. Well, we'll let chat decide.
Okay.
Here, can we run a? Or no, that's not. For some reason, I can't run a poll. Actually, I don't know why I can't run a poll in YouTube. If modders, if you can set up a poll, or moderators, I don't know if you guys can either though. It's so weird. Alright, we'll do it by whoever speaks loudest. We can do the Thinkers movement, which is going to be technology-oriented. The Warlike movement, which is a good way to lose ourselves to the aliens. We get it from barracks and from political movements, and also from the deciphering language, or sorry, the diplomatic version, which is going to be language-based. We're trying to complete that deciphering language thing. So if you have a preference, please comment in there or in the chat. Hold Alt F4 to reset it. Very nice. Lino says, pretty sure you've seen the same burrito images. I'm pretty sure you have. I'm entirely sure you've seen the same burrito. It sounds like we're talking in code, but we're not. We're actually talking about a burrito. The burrito in question. I love bankrolls, dude. Dude, I remember when bankrolls were all you ever wanted in life. Those were some times. What?
If you want to show something off, you could go to the crash site investigation. I think you can access some technologies from there.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, we have some technologies. Mercy's
Well, you
hungry
can
now.
get them.
If you want, you can look at the burrito, Mercy. So we have Hypersteel, which gives 100 tooling workshops building throughput, and motor industries and steel as well. That's incredible. But we can't start researching it. I'm guessing because we haven't progressed enough. We have alien energy, electrical industries, and power plants. I don't think we'll need that yet. Munitions. Certainly if we're going to be warlike, that would make some sense. Basic ray guns, 20% army offense, 20% kill rate. Okay. Xenolinguistics, some authority and influence. I wonder if influence will be useful for this. We get authority and influence, plus 50%.
It's useful for the talker path.
I feel like one of these is a lot stronger than the other. And then 200% university throughput. I think that's kind of what we're into.
I actually wanted to add some buttons there to like focus on either production, society, or military, but I didn't have the time for it, sadly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is mostly for the thinker path. So if that's the path that people are going through, this is the one. That's the one I didn't work on much, so I don't know what happens in it. I'm kind of discovering.
We see one thinker, one warlike, two thinker, one talker, two warlike, three warlike, four warlike, five warlike, two talkers, three thinkers, four talkers, I think five warlike, four thinkers, more war because we go to sleep. Oh, not like this. Can't believe Generalists leaked the secret Vic3 early access Discord burrito picture. Not like this, Tarkus. They didn't know where it came from. They didn't know where it was. Now it's known. Languages, 40 aliens. Alright, let's start pushing towards war. I just like every part of me in my bones feels like it's a bad idea to fight aliens. Just too short, not like this.
I really hope that the deciphering the alien message gets some progress soon.
It's based on the university.
We added some universities. I think we're at 15. Add some more.
I think in my test I was running 1,000 universities, so I might have balanced it a bit.
I cannot afford 1,000 universities. I apologize, but I don't think that's gonna be. I don't think that's in the cards.
I can check the weights. It's probably fine.
Oh man, it's getting so hot in here with the window closed. We might have to let the loud cars in into our heart.
There's a base 5%, so it should happen. There's a base 5%.
We can just pretend that the cars are actually UFOs.
True.
That's true. That's called adding flavor to the mod.
Actually, sound effects we specifically organized for you.
Loud car sound effects.
Exactly.
Just play like really loud ones in the mod, and then I just like think it's actually outside. You have to make sure it appears in the right ear though. We're gonna run into money issues.
If you're gonna go war, you may want way more battalions. Maybe your instinct is correct.
we don't have the money to fight an alien invasion. Oh my god, I'm so blanking on the UI. Oh. Okay. Pretend you're in a sauna. I don't need to pretend. Not legislative failures. Got people playing loud music outside, not like this. Let's make an ad hoc mod for generalists that adds random car sound that plays every once in a while. Someone suggests in chat. The game is I have to try and guess what the mod does, and I never figure it out. Alright, we do get ourselves a nice little bankroll. Wow, it really is small. Some of those events are bugged. Pre-shrapnel cavalries have better stats per pound. That might be true. We are researching shrapnel first, though. Or pre-shrapnel? Not breech loading? Is that even correct? Oh, breech loading gives you shrapnel. Yeah, we'll be there short enough, soon enough.
I think it might take some time until we see aliens.
We put it on there right immediately. I mean, they're supposed to roll us up, right? If
when you complete the menace journal entry, they will, kill you.
Yeah, so I'll just try and keep things moving along, because we're going to complete under this. We could add more barracks. I think we have more in the queue. Kind of running out of money. I mean, we could just keep resetting our debt. I guess. Bonapartist. The use of interest groups are reminding me of Terra Invicta, actually. Someone comments. I haven't played Terra Invicta. It's been suggested to me several times. Is that really the most legitimate? Right, a mysterious crash site. Some people in Burgundy report hearing a loud bang and an explosion. It appears that an object has fallen from the sky. First, I saw lights in the night sky that were moving strangely. It looked as if they were dancing. Then light fell down. It must be an angel that's fallen to the earth. I think that we need to investigate it. But it creates one mysterious crash site in Burgundy, which uses up a little bit of infrastructure. That makes some sense. It has a construction cost. For every building, do you have to specify a construction cost?
Yes, I think so.
So this is our mysterious crash site. And we do know that they did some 3D modeling here. Don't think I see the crash site if it's a model of this. But it's got production methods. I guess we'll do this. We will focus on some weapons. Loud bang must be a car. True. We'll make sure we don't go bankrupt. It'll be awkward and distracting from the mod. Is my chat not updating? YouTube chat, I think, is not. But if you guys were interested in seeing some mods and you've just arrived somewhat recently, in terms of the mods that we have covered earlier, you can check out the VOD. We have covered these mods: Kingdom of God, Gates of the Bosphorus, This Land is Mine. Kingdom of God is a rework for all the Christian religions. Gates of the Bosphorus is a Balkans flavor mod that is not overpowered for the Balkans, so it's a very nice kind of vanilla plus experience with extra flavor. This Land of Mine is not yet released, but it is going to be a Middle East / Arabia mod. We have also Basilia Romion, which is going to be a mod that features a extended timeline and also a different sort of history where Al-Andalus is still present, so is the Byzantine Empire, and so is the HRE, which is a little bit awkward since one Roman Empire is still calling themselves the Roman Empire, and then the other guys say, we're the holy ones, and we're the new kids on the block. But also, we went over Morgenrot. We spent quite some time in that, which is a massive cultural overhaul mod. There's a ton of stuff going on in that. We also have Hail Columbia, which is got some US flavor that is going to be quite good. We're a big fan of that mod, kind of similar to Gates of the Bosphorus, relatively muted, not overpowered, but a ton of flavor. We also have Kiko's Flags and Names, which is both flags and names. Archon Domini, which is a Genshin Impact overhaul mod, which is interesting. And then we also have the Japanese uniform pack, massive pack of a ton of different outfits, which all look very cool, and Realms of Exthar, the fantasy overhaul mod. We are also raising money for charity for the World Monuments Fund, which you can find down on the right. It should be in the classic YouTube UI. Don't use the link that is in our description. Instead, use the one that is down and off to the side. But let's get back into game here. Oh, let's make this chat smaller as well. It's so tall. Sorry about that. And made it a lot taller for the ModJam things. I don't have separate widgets. So. I want to give you time to actually beat the aliens, so I made the Menace JE somewhat slow. I think we did... We finished deciphering an alien message? No, wait. One of those was about to complete. I think... Was it deciphering? No, it wasn't. It was like the tech one. Oh, we were looking off to the side, not like this. We can investigate another crash site, though. Let's do that. I have the feeling if we lose the aliens, that's not too big a deal. Because we did set them to arrive way earlier than they otherwise are supposed to. Alien economy crash. It do be like that. We will continue deciphering the progress. Our aliens have made breakthrough in understanding our linguists have made breakthroughs in understanding the alien language. We can now decipher more of the message, revealing its true nature. The message now reads, Usid... Oh my god. You guys are going to want me to read this. Utid egumentru euk ben hawide uwete utid iquiz dol nuk doxi. Alright, I'm not going to read all this. We see a couple words that have been changed, though. Bin has now been translated. I wonder if it's a letter shift kind of code in terms of its implementation. We're not gonna read through all the alien stuff. Our aliens have made a breakthrough in understanding the linguists. Truly, linguists are a mercurial people.
The implementation of this is terrifying. It's better to not think about it.
I assume it's just shifting the letter over a certain number in the alphabet. Message now reads your development highly inconvenient curse. That doesn't sound good for anyone. Not like this. Too bad we're about to declare war on them either way. It's a big yikes, I think. Alright, folks, I'm gonna have to go soon. Godspeed, Lino. Super cool projects. Big love for all the modders. Lino says he loves you guys. Just thought you should know.
Thank you, Lino.
I think they said thank you, Lino. Lino can hear you, though, because you're on the stream. We want to see some aliens. Let's take a look at our journal entries in here.
I think we're getting closer.
I think we are too.
Well, when the
we're 2/3 to warlike.
100. Yeah.
And I assume we're gonna get clapped, but that's gonna be half the fun. The Red Scare. We don't have time for the Red Scare.
No.
No.
The Red Scare? Oh,
different.
You
Red
might want to
Scare.
look around the world.
Looks normal.
Like maybe around China or south of France or around Central America, maybe.
The political map, or do I need to be zoomed in?
Yeah, you need to be zoomed in.
Oh, okay.
Like maybe somewhere near China.
Oh.
China's there's the Great
Or-
Wall.
An island, maybe? You showed it on stream, but you didn't notice?
Not like this.
Like grayish brown, I think.
Yeah. Maybe near Taiwan, you might want to look.
Near Taiwan. What's that? Taiwan? Are you saying that's the name of a country?
Formosa. I'm sorry.
But I'm not asking for apology. I just asking for a little clarification. They have a different. Is that a different boat? That's a super long boat. If it's not, that looks like an alien boat. You do have the Nebulous though, and the aliens have arrived. They're also atheists. They're into agricultural investments, advance egalitarianism, and maintain balance of power. They're the #1 great power. Yikes.
Does it show their GDP somewhere?
It does. Victoria 3 standards, that's actually not insane.
It gets
For the end
higher.
date.
It gets higher.
Yeah, I'm guessing it does.
If you click on their on the state, you can probably see which buildings cost that.
Not the fishing wharves. It's not the banana plantations. I actually can't see what buildings are causing that GDP.
I think it's on the bottom, probably. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I didn't make them. No?
It
They're not
should be all
visible
the
in
way
the
at
UI.
bottom.
Do they have any other states?
Is that not the state where their GDP is at? Oh, yeah, it's probably in another state then. I think they have Corsica near France.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, that's why France was
Well, they have
actually
all the little
not a
islands.
great choice. Not sure where their GDP's coming from. Can't see it.
The
From
economic
Spain.
questions are the real ones I want answers to. Teach us how to fish, dear aliens.
If you look at the GDP map, you might see like a really.
Oh,
great
yeah, that's
state
true.
somewhere, probably.
You know what you know the expression, teach a man give a man a fish, or give a man an economy. he'll line up for one day. Probe a man, he'll line up for his life.
It would be funny if it was the Falklands.
I love this global GDP map, but I don't know who the money. I don't know who has the money. I just know Egypt is occupying. It says it's all in Formosa.
Interesting.
That's interesting.
Where are the buildings?
More importantly, where's Harvey Dent? Someone's saying, what is Generalist saying? Like, I don't just say pure nonsense all the time. We could swap
They just
to
have
them.
magic economy. They have a magic economy.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We can look at
You might want to look at the barracks too.
Oh, I mean, I saw the power projections insane.
I think I have to test this real quick with my game.
Is that 180 defense, 315 offense? Yeah. I have a sneaking suspicion we won't kill very many of them. Jan Mayen? Oh, that's a good shout. Possibly. No. We have much to learn from these aliens. They continue to provide a mystery to us.
It's the magic alien economy.
Yeah.
It just works.
That's right. They're colonizing too, not like this.
When I played it, they had buildings there.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, I mean, I don't doubt
weird.
that they have buildings. I just am a little surprised you guys got to implement a cloaking mechanic in such a short period of time, whereby they could hide their economy from us. Working as designed. Right, chat? WAD. I'm so pressed I can't make polls right now on YouTube for whatever reason.
Oh. Where is it? Oh, okay.
The cloaking's really good. It's hiding from the modders as well.
Yeah, apparently it's hidden somehow. I don't know why.
So they're there but hidden?
You didn't give artificial intelligence to the game, did you? And make it sentient?
Oops.
So that it's hiding its...
What happened?
Huh? It's hiding its
Lord,
intentions from us.
Maybe it's the unique... Wait, I will test it.
We've hit the, what is it called? The Event Horizon chat. This is not exactly, Chat confirms it's WAD. They must have so much prestige. What's their prestige at? For us to be losing great power, 24,000. Alright, we'll have to do the thing where we do this for one tick and then reset this and then... That feeling when you start out as France and you're not a GP. Please tell me the aliens are becoming communists. Becoming. I don't know.
Really don't know why those buildings don't show up.
I mean, they're there.
But they have 16 billion GDP still. If you look
Oh,
at
you
the
know what?
pops, maybe you can find...
Do you say look at the pops? Because that's what I was about to suggest.
Yeah.
Oh, gee. Did they genocide the pops that were there on arriving?
Yeah, they moved them to the capital of the country they took.
Oh, that's neat that you actually, like, had a mechanic for it rather than just killing them all.
Yeah.
The Alien Emporium. Oh, are we just confusing the government center? It has the government center art. Is that an art asset failure? Oh, no.
No, we just didn't have time for it.
Well, we could get to the Alien Emporiums this way. Bruh. What's their SOL? All the stats. And no radicalism. Okay. What's the SOL of these guys? Just 28? Yikes. Surely the people who own this will have, like, infinite SOL, right?
It's owned by the government, I think.
Not like this. The capitalists are destitute. And here we are trying to pass a laissez-faire. I don't think we're going to fare too well against these aliens.
I think the alien economy might not be ideal.
Well, they have no demand for anything.
Yeah. And so they don't pay anything.
They have fully automated luxury space communism.
Is this more communist propaganda? The people don't work because there's
money.
Well, there's no demand. Like, if you gave money to the capitalists, they would consume a bunch and the prices would rise, and they'd go to 100 SOL or something.
I think they might not have capitalists.
They do. Past the need for capitalists. Oh, they have 200.
200 in
200. A lot.
Formosa. Not for long, though.
I think you can roll them as communist, or you can roll them as fascist. I think those are the only two options.
We must have rolled the communists.
Yeah.
Someone asked if they erased Formosa. Yeah, they did.
Apparently.
We are about to get rolled up by these aliens. The Nebulon Arc. I don't like the way any of this sounds. With arrested communists beginning to stream into French prisons, figures within the government have suggested... Oh, no, wait!
The war started?
This isn't your guys' event. With arrested communists beginning to stream into French prisons, figures within the government have suggested deporting the non-citizens among them to the Nebulans aboard a chartered cargo ship. Just as the sailing of the Ark that Noah built was a pledge for the preservation of the human race, so the sailing of the Nebulon Ark is a pledge for the preservation of the French Republic. Deporting the non-citizens among them to the Nebulans. Should we send the French to the aliens?
Well, they're gonna come to you. The total war started.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you're going to be eaten alive.
I fear you're right.
There's
But we can send insurgents.
You mean food?
Yeah, I mean food. We sent some Serbians, not like this. Sorry to all the Serbians in chat.
I think you rolled the worst possible event line for the aliens.
I think
The ones where they
what
deck
happened
us
is that
immediately? Yeah.
I think what happened actually is that another country did the warlike path and declared war.
I mean, that's what we were doing anyways. But,
Yeah. Some other country decided to go after the Nebulons before you could.
Probably Great Britain, because they are the war
Yeah.
leader.
Probably Great Britain just declared war on the Nebulons.
Always those British.
You will get mechanics if you get the warlike.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to think right now if we can cheese the a
You
landing.
only need to take their capital, and you instantly win if you land.
Oh, then this should be easy peasy. Their navy's gonna leave, and we're just gonna land.
They take every state that they conquer. So if they occupy Paris, the Paris flips automatically to the Nebulons.
Yeah, we'll activate some defensive guys in our HQ.
You will die.
Maybe.
Humanity will be defeated.
We'll see.
Probably. You underestimate the spaghetti. See, these aliens, they're from another planet. We were born in the spaghetti, molded by it. By the time we saw a front that made sense, we were already a man.
We should really have added an event to kill them all because they got the flu.
Ooh. And by we were a
That's
men,
funny.
I mean, since there's 112 in chat and 2 in the call, we're 115 hamsters in a trench coat.
This is not going to end well.
I like how
think
our
it's just
people...
sad.
I feel like, I feel like the
sad
political
that
issues would
Britain
get dropped as soon as there's an alien invasion, like all the vanilla stuff.
It's humans.
The backlash against the policies of the Nebulan communists have led to mounting pressure on the progressive leaders of the Industrialists to explicitly denounce the Nebulans.
I mean, you're at war with them, so...
They're too progressive, like the Nebulans.
Well, I mean... I love getting up at the events, though.
It's very funny.
It's kind of sad that we made this mod for like 3 days until the update comes, and we'll probably break it.
Yeah, it's not 100% gonna break it. But weren't the real mods the friends we made along the way?
Yeah.
Make a linguistic breakthrough. I don't know if this is gonna be enough. Seems kind of bad for us. Yes, if you play this mod at home, but chat, you will likely get a different outcome. Aliens are our comrades. Well, they gotta leave. We're not gonna be able to land that. Unfortunately, islands are really hard to land. Because we can't set up 2 naval landings on the same island.
Well, I guess the aliens are quite smart.
Are they gonna take Beijing? Oh, there's 2,000 units in Beijing.
Obviously, they go for Beijing. Everyone knows you start with Beijing.
Are they going to burn down the Summer Palace as well?
Looks like
Oh, I think they could.
When I tested this, they just took all of Europe. Like, they annexed all of France, Prussia, all of Europe.
I think they just will conquer the entire Earth.
Yeah. They keep going until there's no one else.
But I'm kind of surprised. I thought they would be way faster conquering everything.
It's taken a while to get landings in. You misunderstand, or spaceships are a lot slower than you think. You know what I mean?
Well, actually, they don't have spaceships. They just have, like,
battleships.
What's it called? No,
Yeah,
not even that. Oh, well, maybe.
I mean, I'm looking at the battleships right now.
But they have... Oh, he has a saber.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah, battleships.
Thank you, Tarkus.
We should have given them a tripod technology.
Oh, yeah. In an earlier version, I made it so that they could instantly naval invade anywhere. So if they started a naval invasion, they would automatically get it, but they conquered the world way too fast.
Oh man, that would be fast. I mean, probably a decent simulation. Look, if someone could come to our planet... If you can produce enough energy to travel light years, you can produce enough energy to destroy a planet. So we must liberate the alien proletariat from their freedoms.
Those aliens are so slow.
They are quite slow.
I can't believe the aliens are washed.
Oh, they're losing. You see them just lose a battle?
They lost?
Yeah, they can't land. Get wrecked, idiots.
They suck.
Get wrecked. Overflow this.
Imagining...
There has to be some sort of overflow. There's no way 530.
Imagine being like 2,000 aliens, all with that, like 2,000. That's more like 2 million, right?
How are they losing?
It's called Legacy and Tradition. Okay? It's called Confucius was right about a few things.
How are they losing?
It's called Skill Game.
I guess the Chinese just throw.
You underestimated
waves
how
of humans at them.
how handsome I am.
They're just throwing like thousands and thousands of bodies at the aliens.
Yeah.
They're winning in the ocean here.
You know, it's kind of sad.
Okay, we can't win that.
Couldn't defeat Great Britain, but they can hold back aliens.
How are they do this in the Opium Wars? Well, there's also 2,000 units because there's every country in the world there.
I've completely blanked on the user interface on how to cancel this. Oh, there we go. I thought I already clicked this. Yeah, we just have to wait for them to leave. They're not going to leave if they never get a successful landing, so...
How many humans have died already?
A 6-1. We'll take those. We'll take that. Let's stay a GP by doing this.
Britannia does rule the waves, apparently.
That's right.
How are they losing? The aliens are garbage.
Space opium time. Genghis Khan would be proud. Human moment. Can't win a 10v1. Was it actually impossible? Sow, level big brain move. No. Their navy's manpower might not be able to regain. That might be true. Their navies aren't way stronger. They do have battleships, but...
If they do get a landing, it's probably over.
Yeah, I mean, we hope that they just move out of position. If that happens. So I'm trying to watch what's going on rather than, like, tending to my economy, but... Maybe that is a mistake.
They might be invading elsewhere, too. That's the thing.
AIs usually don't roll like that, I don't think. Well, it looks like they are. Looks like they're failing elsewhere, too.
Oh.
So I'm afraid, but I think I should go to bed now. It's already after midnight in Europe.
That doesn't sound that frightening.
They might land in
So I'm going to leave you with the alien invasion and we'll come back tomorrow to see how fast you were defeated.
Alright, Godspeed. Have a good night.
You
Combo
too.
does not believe in you.
Bye.
I think we're gonna be in okay shape. I mean, we should lose, right?
Realistically, yes. Well, if they get a landing, it's over. Ooh, did they land there? In Europe?
I don't think so. Oh, they did.
Ooh, that's not good.
Maybe. Maybe. Depends on the AI. If the AI moves all their troops off of Formosa, we just win.
Yeah. Yeah, they're taking states from Austria.
There we go. Boom. Hey, the other coffee, thank you for the 4 months Prime. Sorry we didn't catch you earlier. Fred Nicky, thank you for the follow. I think we could just land behind though. Which this isn't a mod thing, this is a I mean if they push deep enough inland, we're cooked. We might be at that point. They're not leaving, unfortunately. But they might just get cooked by spaghetti. Oh, we got some pasta for later. And some chicken parm. It's gonna be great. Alright. We kind of want them to actually push in China, though. Maybe we shouldn't do this. Because we just need to let them... They just need to drop their shields for a second, and then we will fly a plane into their bosom. Yeah, our landing here is not going through. Do we have... Ah, it's because we have this going on. So... God, I hate that so much. So our org, because it's not maxed out, is a problem. But what we can do is we can detach all the skirmish infantry. Right? And then now the max org will be under 50. It'll in fact be 25, so now the landings can go. And incidentally, we'll push faster too. Nebulon's still saying defensive there. Everyone remembers the 3 horsemen who fought away the aliens.
I tried to make it so that they never put units away from the capital, but I'm not sure how far they succeeded.
Oh yeah, they haven't moved them off yet. That's actually, it looks like it's successful so far.
That's good, because I think you don't have the journal entry because you're not the war leader, because someone just declared war first, but there's like a journal entry that explains how the war works. And if they lose the capital, like while that journal entry is active, they don't want to lose their capital as like an AI strategy.
Yeah. If they get enough fronts, maybe they get a little bit weird, but...
Yeah.
I don't know why we're not pushing this with a 100%. Oh, we get the land back from them? Bro. World conquest time. We let them take the thing and then we take it back.
Yes. I think if you win the war against them, all of the land that they own will go to the player as an incorporated state.
Nice. Well, yeah. I mean, we won't be able to push them out from here. I don't know if we can spaghetti them out.
You let them take Austria and Prussia, and then you take their capital, you can form Central Europe.
Uh-oh. Getting some lag. Apparently, like, a Windows update might be the cause of, like, some crashes. Must feel bad when you're in game development. In theory, we should be doing a lot more splitting and this type of stuff, but we're not hyper trying to be successful here. Oh, it's starting to lag. I wonder what. Oh, they got spaghetti. Spagoodle for them. They're also having a bit of trouble with their org. Are they losing battles? No. Oh, they're losing some battles on the ground. 4K against 80K. Holy forward late game moment. Ever moving with 1,000 battalions. Yeah. Yeah, having everyone mobilized simultaneously, actually, yeah, that is terrible for performance generally. So better that we get this at the closer to the start. I don't know why I did that. There's only 3. I don't think you can push more fronts than you have units. You seen the Cold War mods? Yeah, they haven't been updated that recently, I feel like. Or some of them haven't. Nice, we conquered Ingria. They've been spaghettied. Yeah, they are constantly defending their capital though, so this is just... I mean, if this is stable for us, this is just us slowly acquiring territory. Our navy has a chance to defeat theirs as well here. Drink time every time generalist says generally. That's not a good idea. It's bad for your liver. Really liked your Paradox video, by the way. Thank you so very much. There is a new Paradox tutorial up. It is on the Paradox official channel if people wanted to check it out. In addition to the one I did on World Trade. The French Republic always owned Ingria. Big true. Some French Alps. In theory, maybe we could just end the war if we let them get annexed. The war leader? Ooh, it's getting shot.